This fellow awakens the rarest talent imaginable, an SSS rank ability that grants him a completely random skill every single day. In a realm where everyone else is confined to a limited set of abilities throughout their lives, this power is utterly overpowered. Yet, things certainly weren't always like this for Lin Chu. Previously, his only talent was rabbit ears. That was it. No combat skills, no beneficial powers, just rabbit ears. So understandably, everyone treated him like utter garbage. And one day, matters take a turn for the worse. A cute girl with telekinesis abilities suddenly decides to have some fun and tosses him directly into the street just to see how far the rabbit can fly. Unfortunately for him, Truck Hunt is already en route, and yes, it takes his life instantly, but right after his demise, something unbelievable occurs. A system window abruptly materializes before him, SSS rank skill awakened, a broken ability that provides him with a completely random new skill each and every day. With no other options, he resolves to take advantage of his second chance at life. He agrees to the terms, and the system generates a random SSS rank ability for him. After that, the protagonist resurrects in the location where he was being electrocuted. While the driver is astonished to see that he's alive, Link leaps into the air with his new skill that enhances his legs. He lands on top of the truck, crushing the vehicle to pieces. Infuriated by this, the driver rushes toward him to teach him a lesson, however. Our hero strikes him down with a powerful kick, sending the guy crashing to the ground. Frightened for her poor life, the bunny girl pleads with the protagonist to keep his distance. Our hero then enhances his fists with his skill and prepares to send the girl to her end. After dealing with her, he covers her with his jacket. He then picks up her phone and sees her viewers calling him all sorts of names and warning him not to touch her. He seizes the chance to go live and tells everyone that he's the boss bunny from now on. You'd think this guy would at least say something impressive. The following day, in a classroom, a couple of girls are chatting about how the protagonist appeared in the news. As they confirm that it's none other than their classmate, he walks into the room wondering what all the commotion is about. The girls quickly surround him and start asking if it was truly him they saw on the live stream. The protagonist then remembers how he managed to resolve matters with the bunny girl and the driver. For some reason, he got them to apologize. Not only that, but he also used his skills to make them praise him. Our boy must have been extremely desperate for that moment. After that, he accesses the system because he hasn't received any skill for the day. The robot bypasses the selection process and grants a skill known as sewing the world. Being a degenerate loser, the protagonist thinks this finally gives him a chance to attract all the attractive girls around and make everyone else envious. However, when he clicks on it, he doesn't see the desired outcomes he hoped for. The robot clarifies that the skill will allow him to plant all sorts of seeds, and they'll thrive under his care. So much for attracting hot girls. Thanks to receiving such a pointless skill, he begins cursing the system, making others think that he has lost his mind. Someone in the class then calls out to him. He turns to see that it's Li Nan, a prodigy who wields the wind element. The guy offers our hero a job and claims that he can earn a substantial amount of money with it. Lin Q tells him to quickly reveal the details so he can determine if it's truly worthwhile. At the same time, he's puzzled as to why this bully is suddenly being so nice to him. The guy informs him that the position is at a club seeking waiters, and he'll blend right in with his handsome appearance. The protagonist is left speechless when he realizes this guy is foolish enough to propose such a club to him. He turns the tables by suggesting that Li Nan must be a frequent spender there, and the guy agrees without a second thought. Moments later, he comprehends what's just occurred, but our hero continues to mock the guy about it. Li Nan slams his hand on the table in frustration and looks ready to retaliate against our hero for humiliating him. However, the teacher enters and cautions him about the consequences he'll face for fighting at school. With no other option, he concedes but keeps an eye on Lin Qiu. Following that, the teacher informs them that those with awakened abilities will undergo a special assessment to determine if they qualify for Lingyi University. Upon hearing about Lingyi University, the protagonist becomes quite intrigued by what the teacher is discussing. When spiritual energy was restored on Blue Star, Lingyi University was established, serving as a training ground for awakened individuals. Lin Qiu was merely a mediocre failure with weak abilities back then, but now he ponders if he might have a shot at getting into the school with the help of the system. He raises his hand to pose a question to the teacher. However, the man advises him not to trouble himself with the exam as he would only end up shaming the school. Our hero feels crushed by the teacher's remarks, and the entire class erupts in laughter at his expense. Nonetheless, he tells the teacher that he will be participating in the ability exam. The teacher remains firm, insisting that he has average abilities and should focus on maintaining the school's reputation. This only fuels Lin Qiu's anger further, and he vows to take down anyone who has looked down on him. The man offers to give him a chance at the ability exam if he can rank in the top 10 in the citywide tests. Our hero promptly agrees to the arrangement, and his teacher is eager to see what the outcomes will be. With unwavering resolve, the protagonist pledges to gain entry into Lingyi University at any cost. As he rushes out of school, he contemplates how to save money for the expensive university fees. A car speeds into the area and suddenly halts right in front of him. As the door swings open and someone steps out, He wonders who on earth would disrupt his day now. Two girls emerge from the vehicle, and the blue-haired one calls him the bunny. The girl is recognized as Chin Jin Jin, and all the guys in the area cannot believe how gorgeous she appears. Even our hero is left speechless when he sees the stunning beauty before him. Lin Kyo then realizes that the girl referred to him as a little bunny, and he questions why all the girls enjoy calling him such an embarrassing name. He clears his throat and introduces himself to Genzane in a flashy and foolish manner. He also offers his contact details, but the blonde girl ends up laughing at his ridiculous antics. As she teases him, he realizes she is the same bunny girl from the livestream. She informs him that she came to return his jacket and hands it over. Following that, the girl mentions that cosplaying is her hobby, and he should refrain from discussing it, but he doesn't understand why since she is famous. Jin Jin then interrupts and asks the bunny girl, Chungmin, if our hero is the one she mentioned. Chungmin tells her that the protagonist managed to defeat a bronze 2-star rank, indicating that his power should exceed 2 stars. Lin Kyo claims he can showcase his abilities for them just to impress. However, Genjin, who is also a high school goddess, tells him it's unnecessary since they are leaving. He proposes that they find a place to spar, and she questions if this guy is being serious. Being a rank 1 silver star, she feels offended by his challenge and decides they'll spar a week from that day. He further annoys her with his presence when he calls her name and asks if there will be a reward for the victor. Zhen then tells him that if he wins, she'll treat him more kindly and fulfill any other requests he may have. Just before Ming departs, she advises the protagonist to forfeit the contest before he receives a severe beating. As they say goodbye, he assures her that he won't be giving up easily. After they leave, our hero hops on his scooter and suddenly receives a text message. The message is from a client in urgent need of assistance, and Lin Q sees he can set the price for this order. He quickly speeds off to help the client and also aim to become wealthy in the process. In a dim alley next to an internet cafe, some goons can be heard as they are tormenting an innocent individual. The unfortunate victim is in tears and offers to give the thugs some cash if they spare his life. We learn that his name is Jong San and he is a 9-star rank bronze healer. The thugs lift him up and inform him that they are going to finish him off after taking all his coins. Their focus shifts to someone who calls it to them. They turn and notice the protagonist wielding a bat, and he's ready to make them pay for harassing an innocent guy. However, they grab their own weapons, prepared to teach our bunny boy a lesson. Nevertheless, our hero is undeterred by their threats. As he snaps his fingers, a crowd of people materializes behind him, ready to beat up the thugs causing chaos in their area. As the thugs realize there's no chance they can win this brawl, they flee like cowards before they get buried 6 feet under. The hefty one then rushes towards the protagonist and can't believe he is the boss of the territory. Now that he has backup, Jong San warns the thugs never to return or the hero will thrash them. After that, he expresses gratitude to Lin Chu and refers to him as his big brother. But the protagonist just wants to get paid and not deal with an annoying little brat. The boy formally introduces himself as the most charming high school student in the city and offers the protagonist a payment of 30,000 yuan. Lin Q is astonished by how wealthy he has become from this single order. All he requires now is a bit more cash to cover his tuition fees and he is set. Noticing that he is now affluent, the hero decides to call Zhang his junior. He then inquires why the thugs were angry with him. Zhang clarifies that he utilized a female account in a game and the person he got married to asked him for a voice note. However, the person was sitting right across from him and caught him when he used a voice changer. Ling Cho can't even comprehend how absurd this guy is. The kid offers to give the protagonist a lift in a luxury car, but he declines the invitation. On his way home, he reflects on how fortunate he is to encounter the high school goddess and earn a lot of money in the same day. The next day at school, the lecturer instructs all the students to settle down for class. Our hero is utterly drained because he was studying all night long. He attempts to keep himself awake with a cup of coffee, but he might just black out at any moment. He then asks the robot to provide him with his skill for the day. The robot grumbles about having its sleep interrupted, leaving the protagonist very astonished. Why on earth does a robot even require sleep? The plot armor finally kicks in and the protagonist receives the photographic memory skill. It's the ideal thing he needs for the exam. As he decides to test the skill, the lecturer notices that he is acting oddly. Lin Kyo looks at the board and instantly gets the answer to the equation displayed there. Seeing how effortless it is to utilize the skill, he starts flipping through various books to gather as much knowledge as he can. While he is absorbed in the books, the teacher finally snaps and lashes out at him. The man slams the desk, causing our hero to jump straight up from his seat. He yells at Lin Chu for reading a physics book when they are currently in a language class. He tries to explain what made him happy, but the man isn't having it. Eventually, the guy even starts spewing flames from his mouth as he reminds the protagonist about his terrible results. Seriously, this guy needs to take a chill pill. Lin Kyo suggests that the teacher should test him by asking a question from any page of the book because he is confident in his memorization. Despite this, the lecturer still tells him to give up on the ability exam, but Lin Q tells the man to stop underestimating him. A serious tension rises in the class as the lecturer decides to start with an easy question. Our hero swiftly provides the answer as he asks, leaving the teacher astonished. The man follows up with another question, and the protagonist slams the table as he gives the answer. While the classmates are all astonished, the lecturer poses another question to him, and he provides the answer. However, the man starts chuckling at him for getting it wrong until he realizes that the protagonist had given the answer in reverse. The entire class is in chaos, and the students can't fathom how our hero is managing this. After triumphing over his teacher, he exits the class and states he'll see them on the exam day. Days later, the results of the exam are announced, and everyone is stunned to find out who has come out on top. It's none other than Lin Q, and he credits his photographic memory for leading him to victory. While Li Nan is reeling from the disbelief of being defeated by the bunny boy, the protagonist sets out to study his rival for the upcoming exam. 10 days later, the ability exam venue is bustling with a joyful crowd as they await the event to commence. The announcer begins by introducing the representative of the 30th Military Zone and other esteemed guests. As Jen Jen enters the arena, she appears extremely irritated for some reason. She ends up blasting a hole through a wall, and a guy explains that it's due to someone taking her top position in the final exams. We see our hero stride into the arena, and as he waves to the goddess, she responds very coldly. Afterwards, she asks him what he desires in exchange for winning their wager, to which Lin Q replies that they could go out for a meal if she prefers. His generous offer shocks her and she apologizes, forever labeling him as weak. The announcer suddenly appears and suggests that the two highest scores in the final exam are present, but Jen Jin misinterprets his words. While he belittles the protagonist for being a brave little bunny, the hero confidently claims that he will secure first place in this exam. The entire crowd bursts into laughter at him, advising him not to get ahead of himself. However, Lin Q snatches the microphone from the announcer to share his thoughts with the audience. He raises a finger to them and declares that whoever they are backing will be unfortunate to cross paths with him. The whole crowd glares at him with threatening expressions, ready to make him pay for his audacious words, but the hero remains unfazed. The announcer grabs back the microphone and cautions him to be mindful of his words before it turns into a serious issue. The other competitors are also furious and can't wait to teach the hero a lesson. Despite their jeers and threats, our hero stays composed. After that, the moderator informs them that the exam will be a one-on-one arena battle and that the loser will be eliminated immediately. The participants check their phones to see the numbers they have been assigned. Some of them look quite unhappy about their assignments, and they can only wish for favorable matchups. The total number of participants turns out to be odd, so there will be a bye to allow someone to quickly advance to the next round. The examiners are all hoping to be chosen as the fortunate individual, except our hero, who appears completely unconcerned. The draw begins, and everyone anxiously watches as the numbers whirl around on the screen. It halts at number 66, who is none other than our protagonist. I mean, who else could it have possibly been? Anyway, this only results in more people resenting him for being such a lucky little bunny. Rather than blaming their dreadful luck, they are directing their animosity at the hero in the spotlight. With that resolved, the competition moves on to the first round, and the initial participants are called up to the stage. Lin Kyo and the others take their seats to observe how this first battle will unfold. As he scans the matchups on the screen, he notices that the high school goddess is competing in the first match. In the blink of an eye, the match concludes, leaving the protagonist feeling quite unsettled. Jen Jen swiftly wins her match by freezing her opponent into a popsicle. It's no surprise that she's so formidable considering that she is a silver ice awakener. The protagonist opens his book and begins to analyze her skills to avoid a humiliating loss when his turn comes. 10 minutes later, the next battle that unfolds is deadly and intense. Both fighters are giving it their all, ready to obliterate each other and claim the prize. On the other hand, our hero is fatigued from watching all the flashy maneuvers because his mind feels too exhausted to keep going. With no other option, he converses with the robot system and instructs it to provide him with his skills for the day. He also calls out the robot for being too lazy and not wanting to engage with him anymore. Yet, the robot claims it's due to him being a pathetic novice and can't be bothered with such a piece of trash. Subsequently, it grants him an S-rank physical enhancement skill. Lin Kyo is thrilled to finally possess a useful skill instead of the worthless ones he's been stuck with. He's also pleased that the system isn't as ineffective as he had presumed. Nevertheless, the robot cautions him to mind his language or he'll never receive anything decent again. After that, the protagonist activates his newly acquired skill, significantly boosting his muscles. His muscles swell to an enormous size, causing his shirt to tear apart. He begins to flaunt, leaving the rest of the audience in the stadium quite uncomfortable. After embarrassing himself, the second round of the tournament commences. A second draw is made, and he emerges as the fortunate winner once again. On the second day of the exam, Lin Q still receives the lucky pass and moves on to the next round effortlessly. On the third day, the same scenario unfolds, and even he is growing weary of being a lucky piece of junk. When a reporter inquires about his feelings regarding the consecutive draws, he tells the man that he's fed up and can't wait to get some blood on his hands. All the competitors are completely exasperated with him as well and are eager to teach the weak bunny a lesson. Linen takes the microphone and calls out the protagonist for advancing through the rounds without having a single fight yet. To disrupt his fortunate streak, the guy chooses to withdraw from the tournament, meaning our hero will have to fight from now on. Overjoyed, the announcer snatches the microphone from Linan and states how the protagonist needs to be defeated in the next round. One of the participants views this as a prime opportunity to end our hero's lucky streak. The matchups are set and the audience is cheering for the hero's opponent, Lei Dan, who they hope will beat Lin Q badly. The protagonist glances at his opponent, who signals that this is the end of the line for the bunny boy, but Lin Qiu doesn't comprehend why everyone is so hostile towards him. As the match begins, Lei Dan starts trash-talking about how unfortunate our hero is to face him. Despite all his taunting, remains unfazed and mostly just wants to finish this quickly. Being a Bronze 8-star Lightning Awakener, Lei Dan unleashes his powers with a furious look on his face. Right off the bat, he fires a lightning bolt at the hero, but Lin Q effortlessly dodges the first strike. The bolt hits the ground, causing massive destruction at the impact site. Disappointed by his opponent's feeble attack, the protagonist tells the guy that he has only gotten this far by facing weaklings. The guy becomes even angrier and starts launching lightning blasts everywhere. Nonetheless, the protagonist evades every single blast with minimal effort. With no alternative, Lei Dan envelops the entire area in lightning, leaving our hero with no escape route. Our hero recalls how perilous lightning attacks can be, considering he nearly perished from one. Before the attack can reach him, he jumps forward to end the fight before his opponent can execute any more tricks. As he throws a haymaker, his foe is stunned by his speed. Seeing that Lin Qiu is transformed, Lei Dan thinks he can withstand the punch heading straight for him. However, his hopes are dashed when our hero sends the fool soaring into the air with a mighty punch. With that single blow, the guy is knocked out of the ring and eliminated from the competition. Following that, the protagonist is declared the victor of the match. The entire crowd erupts in excitement over the protagonist's astonishing first victory. Principals of top universities, Jiangwen and Luzhen, are already debating over who will recruit our hero to their institutions. Meanwhile, Lin Qiu faces his next opponent, who is a Power Awakener. After observing his prior fight closely, Luzhen notes that the protagonist didn't utilize any mana, but the other principal argues it's implausible given the strength of our hero's punch. He wonders just how frightening the hero's true power is without mana. The next match begins between Lin Qiu and another opponent named Shengui. This adversary is a wolf animorph, and his aura appears more menacing than all the others our hero has encountered. The protagonist grows wary upon sensing the intimidating aura, but Shengui is shocked when he realizes how powerful Lin Qiu is. Before the fight can even start, he collapses to his knees and concedes defeat like a coward. Just like that, our hero progresses to the next round. The same situation occurs with his following opponent, who also throws in the towel before they can engage in combat. It happens again, and he wonders why he can't seem to find someone worthwhile to battle. In the blink of an eye, the protagonist moves all the way into the top 8 competitors remaining. Zhen, who happens to be among the contestants, gazes at Lin Qiu, pondering if they'll finally have a match. Meanwhile, our hero feels isolated with all this winning and concludes that participating in the ability exam was a complete waste of his time. Just then, the robot calls out to him, claiming that it supports him. It then grants him a skill for the day, enabling him to wield any type of spear he can imagine. However, Lin considers it a pointless skill because people don't typically utilize that kind of weapon in this era. While he's complaining about his skill, the high school goddess approaches him. Lin Qiu quickly sits up when he notices her and asks if she's here just for him. She then informs him that she has a few things to discuss. Zhen asks if he's interested in joining a team that she's assembling to explore a bronze dungeon. The bewildered look on his face reveals how astonished he is to hear that she actually wants to investigate a bronze dungeon. During the dawn of mana, countless dungeons were formed and filled with mana beasts and various kinds of treasures. These mana beasts are like a treasure trove. Their hides are valuable and their mana pearls assist awakeners in becoming stronger. Lin Zhou, being a total fool, thinks this is a chance to go on a date with the goddess and have her all over him. She quickly shatters that dreadful thought by stating that there will be 6 other individuals on the team. He shamelessly agrees, but inquires why they need additional people for the dungeon exploration. This guy really is a simpleton. Zhen disregards his question and says she'll reach out to him when the time comes. As she departs, he suggests they continue their conversation over a cup of coffee. However, she warns him to prepare well for the upcoming fights because she has no intention of going easy on him. The day of the finals arrives, and the crowd is more excited than ever. Everyone is eyeing the high school goddess and hoping that she defeats the protagonist. As they've all been anticipating, the match between the high school goddess and our hero is finally about to occur. As the moderator announces the matchup, Genjin points to the protagonist and vows that the first position won't evade her again. However, he doesn't really care about being first and wishes she wouldn't take this so seriously. Despite that, He advises her to concede while she still can because he has no intention of holding back either. The two fighters take their positions ready to battle for the day's prize. As she attempts to warn him about her silver-ranked ability, the hero charges in with a punch and tells her to be cautious. She effortlessly parries his blow, causing him to lose his balance. At that moment, she slips behind and strikes him with a powerful kick. Lin Kyo swiftly gets back on his feet. Thanks to his physical enhancements, he's able to withstand her attacks, which are normally enough to send him to his end. From Genjin's expression, it's clear she intends to ensure he regrets ever challenging her, but our hero rushes toward her with unwavering resolve. The fight has only just begun, and he plans to give it his all. Lin Kyo charges in with a flurry of punches, but Genjin is capable of blocking every single one. As he unleashes his next attack with all his strength, she suddenly appears behind him, leaving him bewildered. By the time our hero manages to look back, it's already too late. She strikes him with her elbow and the protagonist collapses to the ground in defeat. As he pathetically lies in defeat, the goddess instructs him to give up because his fighting abilities are tragically poor. She further mocks him by reminding him that she hasn't even utilized her ice abilities throughout this entire ordeal. However, our hero manages to rise again and is searching for a way to conclude this fight as soon as possible. While gasping for air, a thought suddenly strikes him. He turns to the moderator and requests a break, which leaves everyone in astonishment. The guy doesn't even respond before he leaps off the combat stage. He swiftly seizes the mop stick nearby and inquires if he can wield it as a weapon. The guy tells him that no one has ever made such a shameless and foolish request in history. However, Genjin says it's acceptable and permits the hero to use the mop stick. She senses that he's underestimating her and intends to finish things this time. Lin Kyo returns to the stage, wielding the mop like a spear as they prepare to resume the fight. Lin Kyo's aura starts to glow brightly thanks to his ability, and Genjin realizes that something is off about him. He lunges forward to strike while she attempts to create some space between them. As he approaches and attacks her, she skillfully dodges his weapon. However, his abilities activate and transform him into an exceptional spearman. The goddess vows to eliminate him, and he tries to apologize for hitting her. Despite his apology, she disregards it. She unleashes a volley of ice spears at him, and he manages to dodge them. Feeling furious, the high school goddess activates a more potent ability that begins to freeze the entire arena. Our hero realizes that his movements have slowed due to the freezing conditions. Trapped in a difficult situation, the protagonist sees that he can only have a chance if he transforms. Unfortunately, he doesn't even have a moment to consider that because Genjin continues throwing ice spears at him. As the ice spears explode upon impact, she instructs the host to call for an ambulance and announce the results. But before the guy can declare her the winner, our hero emerges from the smoke with his bunny ears and tells Genjin not to flee just yet. He rushes at her with his enhanced speed, and she swiftly dons ice gauntlets to protect herself. Lin Kyo closes in on her and manages to shatter her ice armor due to his transformed state. Things are looking very bleak for the high school goddess, but she refuses to accept second place again. Refusing to concede defeat, Genjin begins to channel more energy into her body suddenly. She exceeds her limits and advances to a silver 2-star rank. This alarms the protagonist because his opponent is bound to get injured at the slightest misstep. He quickly tells the judge to halt because he believes she's cheating. The guy clarifies that leveling up is not cheating, and the bunny boy is merely a fool. Meanwhile, Genjin wonders why our hero didn't attack her while she was ascending to a new level. This amuses her, but she instructs him to stop fooling around and continue their conflict. Lin Kyo adopts a defensive posture and prepares to confront her again. She warns that she is significantly stronger than before. While doing so, she assaults with more powerful abilities. Our hero uses his spear as a pole to prevent himself from becoming a popsicle. Some ice spears still manage to pierce him, and he observes that Genjin's attacks are much faster and more forceful than previously. He strikes his spear into the ground, but Genjin's assaults knock him off balance, causing him to tumble back to the ground. As if that weren't enough, the high school goddess charges up a more potent ice attack and hurls the barrage at her foe. The protagonist tries to endure the frigid attacks, but there's not much he can do. Despite his physical enhancement, he still lacks the mana to endure such a powerful assault. With no other option, he dives straight at her to conclude the battle. Impressed by his determination, Genjin admits that she underestimated him. As he draws near, she prepares to use yet another ability, but he places her in a headlock before the situation becomes more dire for him. She ends up punching his face as she struggles to escape his hold. As they grapple, they both topple over and fall. Our hero swiftly catches the high school goddess before she can hit the hard ground. She urges him to let her go due to his injuries, but he insists on holding her until she concedes. He even threatens to bite her if she refuses to surrender, further making himself appear as an unhinged creep. He informs her that he cares little about the rivalry and only wishes to triumph. Upon hearing this, Genjin exhales heavily and concedes defeat to the host. After that, our hero collapses and falls to the ground from the exhaustion he's accumulated. The girl rushes to him to check if he's okay. As she calls his name, his awareness slips away. When he regains consciousness, He finds himself in a bed with his head wrapped in bandages. As the robot notices he's awake, it grants him a skill enhancement that upgrades him from a white rabbit to a mischievous rabbit. Lin Kyo loses it when he realizes that the bizarre dream he experienced was all due to the silly robot. Following that, he quickly accesses the system to obtain his skill for the day. After a series of useless skills, he finally acquires a triple S rank ability known as Dimensional Awakening. Without consulting him, the system starts merging two of his skills. He attempts to halt it, but it's too late. With the merger finished, he transforms into both a mischievous rabbit and a Doraemon. Glancing at his stomach, he inquires of the robot what the pouch on his abdomen is meant for. It clarifies that the pouch is a three-dimensional space that can hold anything. In addition to the three-dimensional space, he also gains a skill that can teleport him anywhere within 5 kilometers. Lin Kyo jumps out of bed and decides to test this teleportation power. As he envisions a destination, the door instantly transports him to a random location. As he lands on the ground, it's clear that he's in the room of an unfamiliar girl. The girl quickly grabs a dagger and demands to know how he arrived there. We learn that her name is Lixio, and she's the daughter of the building's owner. He attempts to reassure her and explain his presence, but she doesn't allow him the opportunity. Our hero yells as Lixio inflicts more injuries on him for invading her private space. Despite his wounds, he heads to a coffee shop the following day to meet up with Jen Jen. She waves from her table where he spots her with a few other awakeners. As he approaches, she notices his injuries and asks if he's okay since they're about to leave. She then introduces him to the team, starting with Chung Min and Jong San. They both feel sympathy upon seeing his injuries, and the healer even offers to treat him. After that, he encounters a guy named Zhuang Chung, who is a fire-type awakener. The guy greets the protagonist and praises him for his fight in the arena. Zhenjin informs the hero that there are 2 additional members on their team, but they have other commitments. She then inquires about his acceptance from Lingwu University, and he confirms he has already received the letter. Feeling quite anxious, the high school goddess also asks him which school he intends to attend. Being naive, our hero thinks she's asking because she has an interest in him. He tells her that he's considering Lingwu University and asks if she would like to be at the same school as him. This time, his flirting skills actually succeed because she admits that she wants to attend the same school. It's primarily because she aims to defeat him and prove herself. After that, she shifts to more urgent matters and leaves the hero to keep deceiving himself. She opens a book and presents the Ice Fox spirit, which will be their target. Given that ice foxes typically live in groups, she can't manage it alone. She realizes there might be little benefit for them, but Chung Min urges her not to be so modest. They all view it as a great chance to train while being in her company at the same time. The main character expresses that he's fortunate to be invited by the goddess for such an opportunity. Genjin informs them that they should refer to her by her name rather than the goddess title. With that established, she informs them they'll be leaving in 3 days and will be gathering at our hero's residence. The day of departure arrives, and we see our hero preparing his bags and gearing up for the adventure of a lifetime. The system grants him his ability for the day, which turns out to be another lowly E-rank skill. The skill enables him to master all languages on Earth, and another one permits him to utilize all medical techniques as well. Despite his frustration, the robot reminds him how fortunate he has been with acquiring skills each day. Lincio recalls his pocket dimensions, and the robot suggests that he toss his backpack into it. He lifts the bag, and it gets pulled into the dimension despite its large size. The system indicates that all the items in his room can still fit into the dimension. While he is astonished by how unbelievable that is, he hears a car horn from outside his window. He peers out to see that the team has arrived, and he informs them that he'll be down shortly. Inside the vehicle, Chungmin awkwardly gazes at his pocket dimension. Everyone is truly amazed by how useful the skill is since they've never encountered anything like it before. Jen tells him that his skill is extremely rare, which makes him quite overpowered. Out of curiosity, Chungmin requests permission to touch it. Lin Kyo stops her from doing something so odd, but she is very eager to experience how it feels. After playing around, the driver informs them that they have reached their destination. Upon hearing this, Linky gets out to observe the scenery. There, he gazes at a pillar of pure aura and power and also sees some researchers at its base. This sight is incredible, and he can't believe this is the Lingy he's heard so much about. It's claimed that no one knows when Lingy emerged, and it is filled with various kinds of spirit beasts. Back then, portals surrounded the city, and the inhabitants were filled with fear. Spirit beasts can enter the realm of humanity, but for some reason they seldom do so. Nonetheless, humanity must protect itself on the rare occasions when the beasts choose to cross through and cause chaos. Because of this, the state dispatches government personnel to manage the registration of copper and silver rank Lingwu gates. The protagonist team approaches the dungeon portal and observes some guards recording those who enter. Just as they are about to enter, the list gets filled, so the guard instructs them to go register and return the following day. While Jen registers her team, the hero stares at the gate, noting the intensity of the spiritual energy. Chungmin approaches him and drags him off to who knows where. When he inquires where they are heading, she replies that she's taking him back to the car so she can examine his pocket dimension. Unbeknownst to them, another Awakener is watching them. The guy observes the hero's team and presumes that they are quite wealthy. His lackey proposes that they create trouble by stealing from Lin Q and his companions. The leader's name is Yunzi Hu, and he holds a 5-star silver rank. From the woods, he and one of his lackeys monitor their targets, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He mentions that his Zhonglong group is notorious for harassing weaker adventurers and seizing all their riches. As he moves forward with his team, he vows to bury the protagonist and his companions in Lingwu. The following days, Lin Chu and his team enter the gate to begin their exploration. They step through and find themselves in a green field with sprawling mountains surrounding the area. The group is utterly speechless upon seeing how vast the space truly is. Zhenjin encourages them to get moving because they still have a few days before reaching their destination. As they progress, she instructs Chungmin to stay alert for any potential danger. The bunny girl activates her radar system, which employs echolocation to monitor her surroundings. With everything prepared, the goddess tells her team to proceed. Meanwhile, the Shonglan group is nearby and monitoring them. The leader instructs his men to delay since they are still in an open space. He intends to wait until they enter the forest where he can easily ambush them. As the team walks through the grassy plains, they encounter some magnificent mythical sheep. They engage in a fierce battle with the creatures, but easily overpower them. The protagonist informs his teammates that the sheep's wool is quite valuable, and they should refrain from burning it. Subsequently, they search the area for anything worthwhile, and Chungmin discovers 2 gems. Suddenly, a pack of wolves approaches them from the elevated terrain. Zhenjin warns her group to brace themselves, but they shouldn't be the first to strike. The wolves are known to gain strength when their pack members are harmed. Our hero then suggests attacking the wolf pack leader, but she advises him that the wolves are cunning and their leader will not be caught fighting among them. Realizing how challenging the situation is, our hero opens his teleportation door to find the pack leader himself. He instructs his comrades to remain where they are and await his return. The hero emerges on the other side of the portal and swiftly identifies the pack leader. He crushes the wolf's head with his bat, knocking the senses out of the unfortunate creature. With their pack leader vanquished, the remaining wolves regard Lin Q as a fearsome and formidable demon. They flee to save themselves, and the protagonist is lauded for his prowess. After that, he tears the pack leader apart to search for any valuable items. To their astonishment, he discovers a pearl that can grant him the stealth skill. He gazes intently at the pearl, contemplating how to make the best use of it. He then hands it over to Shengwei, believing he would be the most suitable to utilize it as their scout. In gratitude, the guy vows to repay everyone considering the pearl's significance. Afterwards, Shengwei absorbs the skill pearl into his body. The team is astonished when the item suddenly disappears in an instant. While the guy revels in his new skill, our hero wishes he had kept the precious pearl for himself. He then checks the system for his daily skill and receives an S-rank enhancement skill. He remembers obtaining that skill before, and in that moment, his shirt tears due to his muscles. He curses the robot for embarrassing him and tells his teammates that he'll be back after tidying up. While changing, he discovers that his physical strength is now comparable to that of a silver 6-star power awakener. After being puzzled by this, he returns to his team camp where they've set up a campfire. He suddenly begins to laugh awkwardly, making the high school goddess feel uneasy. When she questions him, he reassures her not to worry. Suddenly, Chungmin alerts Zhen that they are being followed. She informs the goddess that their pursuers are keeping a safe distance to avoid losing them. Zhen cautions her companions about a group that specializes in hunting others within dungeons. Since injuries and death are common inside a dungeon, the lethal group finds it easy to kill others and steal their loot. She also mentions that their pursuers will most likely strike once they enter the forest. The protagonist reassures her that he'll be there to defend her, but she dismisses him and tells him to simply prepare for the attack. The next day, our hero draws an E-rank taming ability. This dampens his mood because he had hoped for an impressive skill for the day. Suddenly, he hears Genjin yelling and turns to see what is happening. When he steps outside, he spots 2 enormous serpents causing chaos among his teammates. An overwhelming dread seizes him as he stares at the monstrous creature. Through his newly acquired taming abilities, he perceives the monster's dangerous traits. He rushes back to his teammates and urges them to retreat and avoid confronting the serpent. At that instant, the creature spits its toxic venom at them, but they are able to leap out of the way just in time. Zhen then informs Dianlei that they'll be assaulting the monsters from a distance to steer clear of their poison. The 2 of them unleash a combination of lightning and ice strikes at the beasts. They succeed in overwhelming the serpents with their strikes and inflict fatal wounds on them. Moments later, the beasts collapse to the ground in complete defeat. As our hero approaches to gather any resources inside the creature, he notices a peculiar movement within it. He instructs his teammates to hold on and maintain their distance while he investigates whatever is moving inside the serpent. He cuts open the pouch and a strange being referred to as a grassland marmot leaps out. While the guys can't comprehend why a marmot appeared, the girls view it as an adorable creature. The marmot hops onto Lin Kui's shoulder, making him quite uneasy and frightened. Realizing that our hero is of no assistance, the creature jumps onto the high school goddess, snuggling her. The protagonist is annoyed by this, yet continues to slice open the serpent in search of additional items. In the process, he discovers 2 mana pearls. The marmot shows its curiosity towards the pearls, but our hero has no intention of giving them up. He then notices the creature attempting to negotiate for the mana pearls, but he remains unconvinced. With no other option, the creature snatches the pearls away. Linkyo's comrade tries to comfort him, but our hero cannot stop thinking about how much money he could have earned. Meanwhile, Zhenjin hears some unusual sounds coming from the forest. Minmin then points out a ray of light racing towards them at a frightening speed. The team prepares themselves for battle as the threat approaches. Suddenly, the marmot erupts from the ground with a pearl alongside its companions. The group is utterly astonished when they witness the numerous marmots emerging from below. The creature calls its friends over, and they form a massive pile of mana pearls for the hero. The marmot informs him that it's a gesture of gratitude for the 2 pearls it took from him earlier. After that, Chungmin takes stock of the total number of pearls present and the ones that possess skills as well. Looking more closely at them, Lin Chu perceives that there are no rare or earth-type pearls because they were likely absorbed by the marmots. The protagonist then hands over the fire-type pearls to Zhuang Cheng. Following that, the high school goddess tells him that he can keep all the remaining pearls for himself. She mentions that it's a way of appreciating him for helping them to easily defeat the giant snakes. He shyly accepts the pearls and compliments from his teammates. While putting them into his pocket dimension, Genjin urges him to try and absorb one of the pearls. He then attempts to absorb a pearl despite having never done so before. A brilliant light shines from the pearl as he absorbs it, and he advances to a bronze 3-star adventurer. While his comrades congratulate him, Genjin ponders if the pearl had that much mana. Nonetheless, she still congratulates him after he boasts about having trained for a month. After that, she thanks the marmot for the pearls and prepares to send it off with its friends. However, our hero still wants the creature to assist him with something. With a mischievous glint in his eyes, he persuades the poor creature to accompany them. Meanwhile, the Zhonglong group continues to spy on the protagonist's team. The bandits are eager to strike as the team enters the forest, but their leader instructs them to stay calm. Yang Hu tells his lackeys to let the hero's team proceed further since they will have no way to escape. He'll give them the signal to attack once they lower their guard. As night falls, we see our hero near a trench being excavated by the marmot. He then gives the creature some spikes to place into the trench. Following that, he opens a can of the cobra venom he acquired earlier and spreads it all over the spikes. With his trap completely set, he bids farewell to the marmots and his companions. After disguising the traps, Genjin informs him that Chungmin wishes to speak with them. The 2 of them head to the campfire area to meet her and hear what she has to say. The bunny girl informs them that the pursuers are very near and she can hear them distinctly. She deduces that the bandits intend to ambush them in the dead of night. She also discovers that the group is referred to as the Feral Wolves, infamous for eliminating newcomers at bronze dungeons. The protagonist sees how frightened his teammates are, which makes him quite anxious. He quickly rises and tells them to cease their chatter. He advises them to settle down because this won't be like confronting an adversary in an arena. The smallest error could cost them their lives. He then approaches Shen Gui and instructs him to safeguard Chungmin and Zhang San since they are the weaker members of the group. Meanwhile, Zhen is impressed by how adept the hero is at leading, unlike her, who instantly becomes apprehensive. After telling the 2 weaker members to keep themselves secure, Lin Q shifts his focus to the high school goddess. However, he ends up flirting with her and attempts to play the role of a savior. She laughs at him, but surprisingly mentions that she'll be relying on him. As midnight approaches, the bandit group stealthily moves toward the tents of our hero's team. Yang Hu instructs his followers that it's time to hunt their prey. As they draw nearer, the leader commands his men to disperse and encircle the tents. With the instructions issued, the men swiftly proceed to encircle their targets from every direction. Meanwhile, one of the members feels that Yang Hu is making a huge deal out of the whole operation. At that moment, he unwittingly walks into our hero's trap and tumbles into the trench. The wooden spikes pierce his body, delivering a swift death. Before Yang Hu comprehends what's happening, he notices that most of his men have fallen into the traps. As he commands them to regroup, one of the subordinates reports that 2 men are already deceased. Another individual has been seriously injured and doesn't seem like he'll survive. As the leader curses the situation, Lin Chu and his group emerge from their tents. Yang Hu quickly concedes that the protagonist had him deceived, but he intends to end everything at once and send them to their maker. However, our hero raises his hand in the air and snaps his fingers, signaling the rest of his comrades. As the bandits notice the impending attack from above, trails of fire and lightning strike where they are. Zhongchun and Shen Gui appear and prepare their spells to launch an assault. The bandit leader realizes they've been ambushed and tells his men to disperse, but some of them are already caught in the explosion. Meanwhile, Zhenjin informs our hero that she's prepared. She casts an ice seal, causing a path of ice to travel along the ground directly toward the bandits. The ice freezes their legs, immobilizing them with no escape. While they struggle to break free, the ice and fire casters combine their spells to eliminate them. As the dust settles, Yang-hu is informed about the demise of yet another one of his men. With no other option, the remainder brace themselves to confront our hero's team. The group of silver-ranked bandits begins to emit a potent and lethal aura. Upon witnessing their frightening presence, the high school goddess becomes very anxious. Upon hearing the threats from the adversary, our hero informs them that his actions are solely for self-defense. On the other hand, Genjin grows increasingly frightened when she perceives the overwhelming might of the bandits. She resolves to keep their leader occupied and tells Lin Q to handle the last one. However, he notices how nervous she is and reminds her to stay calm because he is there to assist. As she walks away shyly, she wishes him good fortune in the battle. The protagonist then instructs Jang San to hide while the rest of the team defends the guy. Not only are his companions perplexed by this, but the opposing team cannot believe that a bronze rank individual is attempting to play the hero. One of the bandits is incited by Lin Q's remarks and rushes to strike him swiftly. The guy unleashes a massive tornado directed straight at our hero and his allies. However, the protagonist effortlessly dodges the assault when he notices how sluggish it is. He approaches the foes and knocks them around with his immense power. He stomps on their heads and ridicules them for being vanquished so readily, when he has hardly begun. As Jang San applauds his performance, Lin Chu remarks that it's all due to the weapon he is wielding. Meanwhile, the high school goddess is being overwhelmed by the leader of the Shounen group. Our hero rushes over to assist her when he realizes how critical the situation is. He appears behind Yang-hu, but the bandit leader has already detected his presence. Nevertheless, the hero swings down at him with all his strength. Once the dust settles, Yang-hu discovers that his subordinates have been taken out by the assault. After witnessing the demise of his comrades, the leader accuses the protagonist of employing some sort of trick to defeat them. Hearing this, Lin Q decides to demonstrate to the guy what a true trick looks like, ultimately terrifying him to his core. The guy leaps back to create distance between himself and the hero. Fueled by rage, he activates his Fury skill, prepared to tear our hero apart. He then lunges forward and assaults Lin Chu with his claws, but the protagonist is able to block the strike with his weapon. Despite boasting earlier, Lin Chu is struggling under the weight of Yang-hu's overpowering strength. The leader eventually throws him off balance and sends him hurtling backward. As the protagonist slides away, he starts brainstorming a way to confront such a formidable opponent. Meanwhile, Yang-hu charges at him, shouting for him not to lose focus in this battle. Lin Kyo dodges the strike aimed directly at his head. He continues to evade the barrage of attacks being unleashed by the frenzied bandit leader. Conversely, Yang-hu must conclude the fight soon before his ability expires. Suddenly, he grows a tail and challenges our hero to attempt dodging his tiger's whip. He lashes down at Lin Kyo with his tail, but the protagonist manages to withstand the assault with his bat. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold for long as Yang shatters the bat and sends him flying. Recognizing that he can no longer underestimate his adversary, our hero determines that it might be the moment to deploy his trump card. The protagonist activates his teleportation portal and proclaims that the battle is over with this. The enemy becomes bewildered when our hero disappears into the portal. He is even more astounded when the protagonist suddenly reappears above him from another portal. However, he still views this as a favorable opportunity to finish off the protagonist. The fear in our hero's eyes intensifies as his foe closes in on him, but at that instant he signals to his allies to attack. Zhen and the two guys then arrive, prepared to unleash their spells on the unfortunate bandit leader. Simultaneously, our hero vanishes into his portal once more, leaving Yang-hu to a terrible fate. Just as the leader realizes what ability the protagonist is employing, the magical spells strike him, resulting in a massive explosion. Afterward, Lynch congratulates his team on a job well accomplished. Meanwhile, Yang-hu lies on the ground in utter and humiliating defeat. When Jang-san checks the body, he confirms that the bandit leader is deceased. Suddenly, a sharp pain hits Jen, likely due to the strain from the battle. Lin Q rushes to her side and inquires if she's okay. He glances at his other teammates and observes how the battle has impacted them. He informs them that their actions were merely a form of self-defense because they would have perished if they hadn't eliminated the bandits. Upon hearing these reassuring words, his teammates begin to feel more positive about the situation. He then advises them to find somewhere to rest and organize their thoughts as well. With everyone feeling improved, he guides them to a suitable spot that's away from the corpses. As they move along, Genjin wears a relaxed and cheerful expression. Once they reach a secure place, Lin Chu instructs his teammates to rest while he and Jang San keep vigil. He then receives treatment for his injuries from their support and expresses his gratitude. The guy comments that our hero is more remarkable, but Lin Chu urges him not to be so modest since he's their top supporter suddenly. Shenjin arrives and tells the guy to take a break while she and the protagonist stand guard instead. With her captivating appearance, she informs them that she wishes to discuss something with our hero. Jang San quickly exits, leaving our hero to converse with his crush. As Genjin takes a seat beside Lin Chu, he starts to feel quite anxious and bashful. Curious about her topic, he gazes at her and their eyes connect. He begins to feel shy and politely requests her not to look at him so intensely. However, the high school goddess chuckles and calls him a shameless man for his remark. She then glances at him again and concedes that he appears fairly handsome. However, our hero becomes extremely flustered since Jen wouldn't usually compliment him like that. While offering her help, she assures him that she's serious and recalls all the courageous actions he took that day. She even tells him that he was quite impressive, leaving Lin Chu even more perplexed by her comments. In the heat of the moment, he takes her hand and inquires if she has a boyfriend. That's a significant leap of faith he's taking. Regardless, his question confuses and flusters her greatly. She quickly retracts her hand and asks Lin Chu why he's posing such a question. The protagonist replies that he was curious if she might consider him after all the compliments she just gave. Shenzhen informs him that she has high expectations and will prefer someone who excels her in every way. She refuses to concede and says they'll discover who is superior between them in the upcoming examinations. Feeling very confident and eager, our hero then questions her what she'll do if he triumphs over her during the exams. He asks her to be his girlfriend if he wins, but Jen tells him to keep dreaming. While they converse, they're interrupted by other guys arriving to take the night shift. The protagonist bids the goddess goodbye, but she is too upset with him to respond. The following morning, Lin Cho awakens and immediately draws his skill for the day. Fortunately for him, he obtains an S-rank mana enhancement skill. With this, he manages to advance by 2 levels, elevating him to a bronze 5-star. When he requests the system to promote him to silver rank, it becomes angry at his outrageous demand. After that, he exits his tent to join the rest of his team. Jiang San, who is astonished to see him, notices that our hero's mana has increased significantly and asks if he has already leveled up. While distracted, the healer accidentally cuts himself with a knife on the table. His teammates rush to his aid to ensure he's alright, and Chung Min gently tends to his injuries. After this, he shifts his focus to Lin Chu, commenting that it's unusual for him to advance twice in one night. The others hear this and are completely impressed by such an extraordinary achievement. As he tells them to stop teasing him, Min instructs them to prepare to defend against an approaching attack. They look ahead and notice some individuals fleeing from a massive group of mana beasts heading directly towards them. Upon spotting the wild creatures, our hero becomes quite frightened and anxious. Looking closer, he notices the wild monkeys about to attack an innocent girl. He temporarily shields his teammates from the wild beasts, and then they begin to flee as the monsters charge at them. One by one, they start to tire from running around and can't maintain the pace much longer. Realizing there's no point in running any further, Shengui halts and decides they should confront the monkeys. The wild beasts quickly close in on them, leaving the team with no choice but to fight. As the protagonist snaps a stick to serve as a weapon, Genjin urges him to take her life if they fail. Chung Min would also prefer to perish if things worsen, but our hero reassures the girls that he'll safeguard them regardless of the circumstances. He charges ahead to delay the monsters so the girls can prepare their most powerful spells. As soon as he enters the crowd of monkeys, they promptly fixate on him. However, he strikes them with his raw power. Despite taking down several of them, more monkeys keep sprinting toward him. The predicament worsens as Jen spots additional beasts rushing toward them. A monkey suddenly appears and reaches out for her, but a massive explosion erupts out of nowhere. She quickly sees the protagonist holding back the monkey that almost caught her moments ago. Lin Kyo delivers a powerful blow to the creature, killing it. Unbeknownst to him, another beast approaches stealthily from behind. While the hero's defenses are lowered, the monkey slashes his shoulder, injuring him. Jen then instructs him to move aside because their spells are primed. As he creates space for them, the girls unleash highly destructive spells at the monkeys. The force results in a tremendous explosion that rattles the very roots of the forest. Consequently, the ravenous creatures are swiftly vanquished, but Min detects another wave of mana beasts heading their way. As the dust settles, they spot another group of monkeys being led by a gigantic golden gorilla whom they suspect is the leader. With their energy and resources completely depleted, the team finds themselves in a grave predicament. Chung Min begins to weep, expressing her fear of dying like this. Zhang San is touched by the girl's tears and resolves to do whatever is necessary to rescue her. He pulls out his phone and abruptly starts typing something. He then calls out for someone named Zhao Si to reveal himself as he presses the send button. Out of nowhere, a man appears on the battlefield and refers to the healer as his master. Zhao Si confronts our hero's team with a cigarette in his hand while they wonder just who he truly is. It is disclosed that the individual is a gold rank awakener with an ape shape-shifting ability. His master then admonishes him for stealing the cigarette and instructs him to eliminate the monsters swiftly. The man removes his jacket and activates his ability, unleashing a lethal aura in the process. When Jiang San teammates inquire about the man, he informs them that Zhao Zi is his family's representative. Utilizing his ape ability, Zhao Zi charges forward to vanquish the creatures threatening his master. As Zhao Zi approaches the ape leader orders the smaller ones to step back while he confronts the awakener. The beast lunges directly at the awakener and strikes, but the man effortlessly seizes the ape's arm. He then slams it onto the ground, leaving the weaker apes utterly terrified and despondent. After that, Jazzy throws their leader into the center, where he lies on the ground in complete defeat. As if they haven't endured enough, the man's intimidating shadow looms over them like a relentless deity. He emits a terrifying roar, causing the feeble apes to flee in panic. As the monsters escape, our hero concedes that gold rank awakeners are indeed formidable. Having completed his task, Jousy informs his master that he will be departing. The man ascends into the sky as they bid each other goodbye. Min Min then inquires of their healer if Jousy has always been close to them, and he affirms it. He also mentions that Leiden's family wished to send a protector as well, but they decided on just Jousy. He then apologizes for not notifying Leiden about the decision sooner. Leiden admits that had they known someone was safeguarding them, they wouldn't have pushed so hard during their training. Thanks to the training from the past few days, he suddenly advances to the next level. Not just him, but Min Min also advances too. Observing the situation, our hero wonders if he can also elevate his rank. He extracts an orb and starts to meditate profoundly on his mana. During this process, he begins to sense a warm sensation coursing through him. Linkyo ends up just embarrassing himself while his teammates gawk in sheer disbelief. He falls into a gloomy state after failing to progress like his fellow comrades. The system even chastises him for wanting to level up again, but he feels like the sole weak link in his group. While examining the deceased ape leader's body, he unexpectedly discovers a mana pearl. He learns that it's a silver mana pearl, which possesses a rare sound skill capable of stunning foes. He then grabs Jongsan's attention and presents the pearl to him, leaving the guy thoroughly astonished. The protagonist suggests he give the pearl to Chungmin since he knows how much she adores her. The heavyset guy starts fantasizing about Chungmin and how she would make the ideal wife. Talk about a pathetic fool. Regardless, he promises to send our hero a substantial sum of money once they exit the dungeon. Filled with delight, Jang San gazes at the pearl and ponders how to approach his crush with it. Suddenly, Chungmin walks over and inquires why he's smiling so bashfully. Just as he's about to back out, Lin Chu arrives and pushes him forward. Jang San ultimately kneels with the pearl in hand, resembling someone proposing to Chungmin. She notices the sound pearl and is overwhelmed with warm feelings. As Jongsan tells her that the pearl is intended for her, she embraces him tightly. After that, Genjin reminds everyone that they should pack up and move on. Moments later, the team reaches the boundary between the forest and the snowy expanse. The high school goddess suggests they rest there for the night before, venturing into the snowy mountains. While they set up their tents, the protagonist observes that Genjin is shivering from the cold. He removes his jacket and offers it to her with some suave Riz skills. She gratefully accepts the jacket, beaming a bright smile. Unbeknownst to them, a lethal snow bear is lurking nearby in search of its next meal. The following day, our hero steps out of his tent as Jongsan informs them that breakfast is prepared. As Lin nibbles on bread, he draws his skill for the day. Unfortunately, it's an E-rank skill, and he curses the robot for being so inept. With his day off to a poor start, he asks the healer to pass him some honey to boost his spirits. Suddenly, the snow bear appears and snatches the honey jar from Zhang San. The two guys are terrified to their core when the monster emits a loud roar. Chungmin quickly arrives and activates her new ability to stun the creature. Her other teammates also show up in time, and together, they overpower the fearsome bear. Shortly after, we see the bear collapsed on the ground, its senses entirely disabled. Jen praises Chungmin for her impressive stun ability. As she informs them that they will reach their destination that day, our hero prepares to harvest the spoils from the beast. Jen tells him that they need to get moving, and he replies that he's nearly done. Lin Kyo then decides to stuff the bear into his pocket dimension, causing the goddess to think he has lost his sanity. However, he reassures her that it's not heavy for him at all. 3 hours later, the team finds themselves near the fox den. Using her echolocation, Chungmin detects the number of monsters nearby and warns her teammates to stay alert. Suddenly, something shifts around them, and they turn to see what it is. A cute baby fox then appears, which causes the girls to completely fall in love with the fluffy creature. The protagonist notices that the fox is easy to tame, but if its kin is harmed, it pursues its target relentlessly. Considering that Genjin desires the creature's skill pearl, he worries about her affection for the animal. He captures her attention and informs her that handling the creature won't be too challenging. However, she doesn't appear very pleased about harming the adorable fox. Nevertheless, our hero inquires if she requires assistance with it. Genjin gazes down at the innocent little fox in her arms and resolves that it's better to release the creature. She believes she'll be just as cruel as the earlier attackers if she harms the fox. Being able to encounter such a gentle beast is enough for her. Her teammates are all pleased with her choice and expect nothing less from her. As she gestures for her comrades to depart, the protagonist swiftly halts them. They suddenly spot 2 large foxes approaching them. The creatures emit a loud and fierce roar. The protagonist assumes that the monsters are furious because they think the humans have taken their offspring. However, the little fox approaches its parents and calms them by explaining the circumstances. The massive fox then offers the hero's group a gentle smile. Lin Kueo and his companions are relieved that the situation didn't escalate further. Thanks to his E-rank abilities related to animals, the protagonist moves closer to the foxes to see if he can acquire a skill pearl from them. He proposes to give the fox something else in exchange for any mana pearls it may possess. He discovers that the foxes have a mana pearl and will provide it to him if he aids them in defeating their natural foe. How is this guy even communicating with them? He vows to vanquish any creature that would harm such adorable foxes, and the foxes inform him that it's the Snow Peak Bear. The team is astonished to learn that it's the same bear they defeated earlier. The protagonist opens his pocket dimension and tosses out the dead bear, leaving the foxes puzzled. In return, the snow foxes present him with 2 mana pearls for defeating their foe. Lin Kueo offers one of the pearls to the love of his life, who requires 1 skill. The rest of the team is excited for her to absorb the pearl and display her new skill. Even the protagonist is eager to see what this new skill will be. Shenzhen holds out the pearl and begins to absorb it. As she does, she conjures an ice bow and instructs everyone to observe her. She fires a powerful ice arrow and the shockwave nearly knocks the hero off his feet. The arrow flies swiftly, demolishing every single obstacle in its path. After witnessing such an impressive display, Lei Dan loses all hope of ever surpassing the high school goddess. After Lin Qiu congratulates Jinjin on her fantastic skill, Chungmin tells everyone to pause so they can take a picture together. Jiang San then approaches the foxes to request their assistance as a phone stand. He sets the timer and hands the phone over to the fox. Chungmin then calls him over and the group gathers for a lovely team photo. 3 days later, our hero is looking through the photo with immense joy. He suddenly starts receiving notifications about funds being sent from his teammates. Thanks to his expedition, he's now a millionaire. All that remains is to become #1 in the upcoming exams, and he'll fit the role of a partner for Genjin, or so he believes. The system interrupts and tells him to stop fantasizing because Genjin will never regard a loser like him. However, he boasts about how he has been studying daily and has advanced to a bronze 8-star awakener, but Pinocchio has nothing on this foolish liar. Afterwards, he draws his skill for the day and acquires a rank zoom skill. He thinks the skill will be useless for his exams but will prove more valuable in his silly plans. A month later, the day of the result announcements finally arrives. Our hero is with some of his team members at a cyber cafe where they are reviewing the results. Chungmin expresses how confident she is about being in the top 10, and Jiang San supports her. Conversely, Jinjin grabs the mouse from our heroes as the announcement moment arrives. A seething anger fills her when she views the results. She then inquires Lin Chu how he managed to achieve such a score. The protagonist peers closer at the screen and notices that he received perfect scores in every subject. Jiang San can't fathom how superhuman Lin Kueo is, and the hero begins to feel quite proud. He then approaches to check Jin's score, but she tells him to forget it and promptly concedes that our hero has bested her. The others are amazed at how effortlessly the goddess admitted her defeat. Following that, the hero starts flaunting his wealth and asks her when it would be appropriate to ask her parents for her hand in marriage. Zhen quickly calls him out for being an unrepentant fool. He ultimately annoys her and ends up with a broken heart, but Jiang San attempts to lift his spirits. Later, Jiang San mentions they'll meet in 2 weeks to head to M City together. The day before their departure, our hero completes the final touches on packing his luggage. He begins to ponder if he will ever return to this room where he's resided for the last 2 years. The system is taken aback by his sentimentality, but he merely instructs the robot to provide him with his skill for the day. After the draw, the system awards him a mana enhancement skill once more. As Linkyo remembers that he can boost his mana with this skill, the system rapidly begins to implement the ability. He tells it to halt because he senses he will soon progress to the next rank, so he doesn't see a reason to use the enhancement right now. The protagonist then initiates meditation to try and elevate his rank again. He adds a silver mana pearl to the items he's utilizing and successfully ascends to the bronze 9-star rank. With this successful advancement, he instructs the system to proceed with the mana enhancement. After employing the skill, he easily elevates to the silver 1-star rank, making him even more powerful. With this, he acquires a skill that permits him to pull or manipulate items from a distance. He decides to test it out to see just how remarkable the ability is. With his focus on his backpack, he attempts to draw the bag closer to himself. Unfortunately, he ends up exhausting his mana and the bag barely budges. The robot chuckles at him and remarks that he's fortunate the bag even shifted a little. Mastering it will require extensive practice, but our hero refuses to give up and keeps trying to move the bag. The following day, his landlord's daughter notices his room door ajar, but she doesn't find him within. She reads the note he left on the table, informing her of his departure to study in Magic City. She then opens the envelope next to the letter and discovers a substantial amount of cash inside. Lixu wonders how the protagonist amassed so much money and hopes he didn't engage in any illegal activities. Meanwhile, our hero is already on a train with his friends, and Jen is concerned that he might catch a chill. When he receives a call, he answers only to hear Lixue shouting in his ear like a banshee, asking if he did something wrong. He reassures her that everything is fine and that he earned all the money legitimately. After that, She advises him to study diligently and strengthen his foundation through hard work. Lixue also asks him to introduce her to his girlfriend if he ever manages to find one. When the train arrives in Magic City, our hero tells Lixu that he has to take his leave. On their way out, Jang Sun comments on how much the hero's family must truly care for him. The scene shifts to the lively town of Magic City, where we see many people going about their daily routines. An elderly man who is spotted strolling around is revealed to be Lu Jin, the vice principal of Magic City. He sees the hero with his friends and calls them over. He tells Lin Chu that he anticipated they would enroll at his university and praises them for their abilities. The old man senses something amiss and realizes that the protagonist is now a silver rank awakener. He instructs the hero to visit his office once he's completed the registrations. However, our hero feels uneasy about being summoned to the principal's office on his very first day. Later, one of the staff members escorts Lin Chu and Zhang San to their room. Once they enter, Zhang San praises the protagonist for achieving silver rank so quickly. He hopes that our hero's good fortune will transfer to him, allowing him to advance rapidly as well. Before heading to the principal's office, Lin Q accesses the system for his daily skill. He draws the physical enhancement skill once more and promptly uses it. After that, the system indicates that his current strength resembles that of a gold 2-star power awakener. With this, the robot also informs him that future physical boosts will include an SS rank upgrade. Zhang San then reminds him to proceed to the principal's office, and our hero quickly exits. Lin Kyo arrives in the office and is instructed to take a seat by the vice principal. Lu Chen wishes to ask him several questions and begins by explaining the ranking system. He lists the ranks from the lowest, bronze, to the highest, exalt rank, and then inquires about the hero being an animorph. After verifying that Lin Q is a rabbit animorph, the old man wonders if fortune has favored the protagonist. Our hero tries to downplay it, but he's anxious that the old man might be aware of his daily skill system. However, the old man persists in questioning how he managed to attain the silver rank so swiftly. As Lin Qiu laughs it off, he attempts to fabricate an explanation for the vice principal. He tells the old man that he utilized mana pearls, but Lu Jin still remains skeptical. When asked about his number of skills, the hero states that he possesses 7, further raising the old man's suspicions. Given his influence, Lu Jin suspects that the protagonist might not genuinely be a rabbit. However, our hero clarifies that he acquired spatial abilities after evolving. Upon hearing this, Lu Jin is utterly perplexed. He did not consider that animorphs could evolve into different types of abilities. Lin Kyo then reveals his belongings from his pocket dimension, validating that his skills are indeed real. After inspecting the luggage, the old man confirms that he has undoubtedly chosen the right university. He mentions that the principal, Ouyangze, is the only known true Valiance Awakener in the country. The protagonist becomes very enthusiastic upon learning that the principal is also a spatial awakener, although he is not present at the school at that moment. Following this, Lu Jin asks if anyone else is aware of our hero's evolution, to which Lin Q replies that it's just his friends. The old man then instructs him to ensure that his friends keep this confidential. Suddenly, the vice principal requests Lin Q to punch with all his might. After observing how impressive his physique is, the old man wishes to test his strength. Our hero gathers all the strength he can muster and delivers the most powerful punch to the man. As the dust settles, he asks the old man if he's okay. Meanwhile, Lu Jin is sweating nervously, feet firmly planted on the ground. After confirming that his physique is at the gold rank, the vice principal warns he might deduct the repair costs from Lin Q's scholarship. Shortly after, he decides to offer our hero a spot in a competition next month since he has a gold rank physique. Although the old man explains how prestigious the exam is, Lin Kyo declines to participate. He tries to persuade the protagonist further by mentioning the cash prize of the competition. Upon hearing the amount, our hero shamelessly agrees to give it his all. As the hero returns to his room, Jang San welcomes him and mentions that their roommates have arrived. Lin Kyo struggles to contain his laughter upon seeing the guy with green hair. The guy's name is Zhang Hongyang, a Bronze and Star Awakener. After teasing the guy, our hero turns to the other person in the room and assumes that he's the father of the green-haired boy. The older man approaches him with an intimidating presence, and Zhang Sun clarifies that he's also one of their roommates. Regardless, the protagonist doesn't comprehend how this guy appears so much older than everyone else. After joking around, Hong Yang proposes that they discover who is the oldest among them. They all pull out their IDs, and unfortunately for the others, Lin Chu proves to be the oldest person in the room. Hong Yang is incredibly furious when he sees this and decides that the others should call him number 2. Someone walks past their room and informs them that the counselor has requested them to assemble in a class. They all head out together and reach the classroom. As they near the seats, the other students are stunned to witness something. The older roommate quickly clarifies that he is also a student, but the others have already formed the wrong impression based on his appearance. A woman approaches the protagonist and instructs them to take their seats. Her name is Han Junning, and she is an 8-star Platinum Awakener. She introduces herself as the counselor for the class and informs the students to come see her for any assistance. After that, she announces that the purpose of the gathering is for them to choose a class representative and introduce themselves. She provides an example by presenting herself as a nine-tailed fox animorph and sharing her interests. Following that, she encourages the students to start with their introductions and selects Jung-san to go first. The guy introduces himself casually and mentions that he likes Chung-min. After Junning laughs off his straightforward approach, our hero introduces himself next. The counselor then tells the class to take a good look at the rabbit animorph who achieved a perfect score on the exams. Some students start chatting about him, questioning whether he got into the university solely with his exam results. However, the protagonist chooses to disregard all the negative chatter about him. Once the students finish introducing themselves, they move on to selecting a class representative. Jennings explains that they are all special and mentions that she has picked 4 silver-ranked students as candidates. They are Zhen, Lin Xiu, Ouyang Chen, and Sima Yan. She calls them out and gives each individual 2 minutes to speak and attempt to earn classmates' votes. Sima Yan, who is an eagle animorph, decides to speak first. He begins by introducing himself with the usual formalities. Then he states that he has been a class representative since his elementary school days and politely asks for their votes. However, some people are not impressed by his speech. The protagonist goes next, but he doesn't seem very enthusiastic about it. He bluntly tells everyone he does not want the position and encourages them to vote for Genjin instead. The counselor suspects he's just a troublemaker, but calmly hands the microphone to Genjin. The high school goddess simply asks everyone to vote for her and returns the mic. As anticipated, her friends are all cheering for her. After that, the microphone goes to the final person, Woo Young Chin. The girl notices how popular Jin is, but doesn't feel intimidated by her. As she steps to the center of the stage, all the guys can't help but gaze at her. She introduces herself with her charming appearance and kindly asks everyone to give her all their votes. As the entire crowd goes wild, our hero observes that Chan and Jin are total opposites. Later, the counselor finishes counting the votes and is rather surprised by the results. She teases the students for a moment before declaring Jin as the winner. Qian takes second place as the vice representative, which makes her ready to confront anyone who didn't vote for her. With the votes finalized, Junning decides to proceed to the topic of their military training. She warns them that the training is very strict and they'll be expelled if they miss it. Their instructors are soldiers from the Vermilion Bird Squad with real combat experience. The protagonist then inquires if the Vermilion Bird Squad is meant to be renowned, which leaves Sima Yan astonished. Tien clarifies that the squad is the only aerial squad in the nation. At the same time, she is contemplating how to get closer to our hero after noticing his good looks. She begins telling him about other squads while attempting to approach him, but the protagonist is lost in deep thought. Considering he has skills related to monobeasts, he believes he can acquire a mount as well. When the training day arrives, the students assemble at the training grounds. There, Chung-min is chatting with Jang-san about how he has shed some pounds. The protagonist feels envious of them and wishes he could find himself in the same situation with his crush. All of a sudden, they notice feathers drifting from the sky. A massive eagle approaches them, and atop it, they see an awakener commanding it to land. As the bird touches down, the guy dismounts and signals the commencement of the training session. The guy introduces himself as Lin Chong, the lead instructor for their training. He quickly informs them that they are all a bunch of spoiled brats who are unaware of the harshness of the world. Nonetheless, he tells them that the instructors behind him will start training all of them like soldiers. One of the instructors approaches the protagonist and introduces himself as Qin Ming. Our hero proceeds to poke fun at both the guy's name and the chief instructor's title. Observing how energetic the students are, Qin Ming decides to teach them a lesson with the initial task. He instructs them to begin by running 10 laps around the field and no one is permitted to use mana. This swiftly wipes the smiles off their faces because they can't believe how harsh this first task is. The students hurry onto the field and start running while their instructor supervises them. As he anticipated, some students begin to drop out after completing just 5 laps. He takes note of how each individual is performing, but the protagonist seems to capture his interest after noticing how relaxed he appears. Qin Ming can't understand how Lin Qiu is staying ahead of the group despite being a useless animorph. Even Genjin and Chan are becoming quite worn out already. Our hero is concerned that his crush might not be able to keep up for much longer. He decides to slow down and offer her a helping hand around the track. However, Genjin declines his offer and urges him to go on ahead. Meanwhile, Chan seizes the moment to get closer to the protagonist. Still, our hero isn't interested in her, and Jinjin appears ready to send the girl to the afterlife. Lin Qiu continues to run and tells Jinjin to inform him if she needs any assistance. By the 9th lap, Sima Yan seems like he's about to collapse, but his pride won't allow him to lose to our hero. Despite the fact that Yan is using all his strength to stay ahead, our hero plays it safe to avoid showcasing his skills. Lin Qiu then observes that his fitness level is significantly higher than that of his fellow students. On the contrary, Yan feels insulted by the protagonist who isn't even straining himself to keep pace. As they near the finish line, the guy is determined not to be beaten. He charges forward with all his might, leaving the protagonist quite puzzled. The hero is only focused on securing second place, so he doesn't comprehend why Simian is trying so hard to win. He strives to stay close behind him, but Yan isn't having it. The guy sprints ahead with all his might, but unfortunately fails to notice a rock in his path. He stumbles and falls, causing our hero to take first place. As the guy lies in defeat, he ponders why he exerted all that effort just to finish second. The instructor congratulates Lin Q and comments that the 10 laps didn't seem challenging for him. The protagonist panics and begins to pretend that his entire body is aching, but he does a terrible job of it. Qin Ming decides to keep a close watch on him, which leaves our hero with little opportunity to maintain a low profile. Our boy places all the blame on Yan and calls him a pathetic loser. On the other hand, Yan claims the only reason he lost is that he tripped. He still hasn't realized that our hero was holding back. When the hero labels him a trash sloozer, John reminds him that rabbits are merely for eagles, but our hero tells him that he knows nothing. As the remaining students complete their laps, the instructor gathers everyone. With a rough assessment of his students, he instructs them to begin doing a set of 100 push-ups for 5 sets. When the pupils hear this, they begin to think their instructor is merely a ruthless demon. Qinming instructs them to begin without delay, and to keep track of their count so that he can hear them. As the students assume their positions, they are cautioned not to skip any repetitions, or they'll receive an additional set. Samayan believes he will excel in this task since push-ups are part of his usual training. However, he feels defeated when he witnesses our hero performing push-ups at an unnatural speed. Lin Kyo decides there's no longer a need to conceal his strength, so he might as well give it his all. The instructor notices how remarkable our boy is and chooses to observe him more closely. The students are utterly drained when they finally complete their sets. They all grumble about their instructor being a demon and how they can hardly move after such a grueling session. Qinming grants his students 2 hours to recuperate before they proceed to their afternoon session. Observing their despondent state, he decides to offer them a chance. He'll lower his power to match theirs, and if someone manages to defeat him, that individual will be allowed to skip training for the month. Sima Yan then inquires if the instructor is certain about limiting his power level. When the man affirms it, Yan agrees to the challenge. The protagonist asks if they are permitted to use weapons, and the instructor consents. When he mentions wanting to utilize a lethal weapon, the instructor reminds him that firearms are prohibited. Our boy might just be audacious enough to attempt something like that. However, he informs the man that he tends to use a spear. Subsequently, they depart to run later for the contest. In the observation room, the vice principal informs Lin Chong that our hero is a promising student at present. After hearing about how he confronted the old man, the chief instructor becomes increasingly interested in witnessing Lin Chu for himself. After that, he assures the old man that he will accomplish the task assigned to him. When Lujin advises him to have his scar treated, the chief instructor states that he won't do so until he avenges the perpetrator. The scar serves as a reminder of the suffering he endured back then. The old man is concerned for him and hopes that he finds the culprit soon. On his way out, Lin Chang tells the vice principal that he has uncovered some leads, and it won't be long before he exacts his retribution. When the time for the afternoon session arrives, we see our hero searching for something. When Jang Sun approaches and asks what he's up to, Lin Chiu replies that he's seeking a suitable weapon. The hero remembers that he broke the last weapon given to him. Suddenly, Jiao Si appears out of nowhere with a weapon in his grasp. The guy hands the spear to the protagonist and tells him to put it to use. After seeing how impressive the weapon is, he expresses his gratitude to Jang San for the gift. His friend is also pleased that he appreciates the spear. They return to the training grounds, where their instructor is about to face the first challenger. Sima Yan approaches the instructor as the initial challenger. He declares that he is an eagle animorph and wishes his opponent a good fight. Qinming reminisces about sparring with these types of animorphs and asks his opponent to transform before the fight begins. Yan quickly activates his ability, shaping his hands into magnificent wings. He then ascends into the air and comes crashing down with a powerful slash. Meanwhile, the protagonist thinks the guy looks incredibly cool while being able to soar and attack. The instructor reinforces his body with metal and deflects the guy's strike. Feeling irritated, Yan attempts a different approach, but it also gets blocked by the instructor. On the contrary, our hero observes that the instructor's confidence stems from his unique metallic defensive skills. As the dust settles, the Eagle Boy realizes that his opponent is completely unscathed. Qinming notices that the guy is nearly out of mana and asks if he will concede defeat. With no other option, Sima Yan regretfully concedes defeat. When the instructor calls for the next contestant, Chen steps forward to challenge him. Qinming takes his position and signals for the match to commence. The girl launches a fireball, but the instructor is puzzled as to why the strike is sluggish and less intense. He then decides to charge ahead to take the offensive stance. He walks straight into the girl's trap, and Chen begins unleashing a flurry of fireballs at him. The instructor is taken by surprise, but still manages to raise his defenses to shield himself. Meanwhile, the girl prepares another spell and unleashes a massive fire tornado, nearly turning the instructor into a roast. As the fierce flames keep advancing toward him, the instructor erects a protective barrier, but he can't withstand the fire for long. Chen persists in applying pressure on him nonetheless. With no other option, she concedes defeat after depleting her mana. Meanwhile, Qinming acknowledges the girl and her overwhelming prowess. Next, Zhenjin approaches the instructor to confront him. She inquires if he needs a moment to recuperate before they begin, but he assures her that he has sufficient mana reserves. At the instructor's signal to start, Zhenjin summons an ice arrow and shoots it at him. The man manages to deflect the strike, but he sees more ice projectiles soaring towards him. He is quickly inundated by the projectiles and sees no other option but to transform his entire body into metal. Whenever he attempts to close in on his opponent, she fires the frost arrow at him, complicating matters significantly. Meanwhile, our hero is extolling his crush for being so impressive. Eventually, Genjin admits defeat due to her mana being exhausted, leaving the instructor hanging by a thread. When the man calls for more challengers, the protagonist raises his hand to step forward. Lin Qiao asks the instructor if he requires a break, given how taxing his previous fight was. However, the man responds that he is fine because he can recover quickly. The chief instructor arrives and advises Qinmeng to rest and give it his all. The man inquires of Lin Qiang if he's certain, and the chief instructor reassures him. Meanwhile, the other students appear worried about this match since they know their instructor has been holding back. While the guy takes his breather, the chief instructor approaches the protagonist. Lin confirms that the vice principal informed him all about the hero. However, he is taken aback when our boy mentions his spatial abilities. Lin tries to downplay it, but the chief instructor believes his skills may prove beneficial. Lin Chong then tells the hero to thoroughly defeat the instructor. He mentions that the loser of their bout will have to do 500 push-ups, but this doesn't faze Qinming. On the other hand, our hero's intention to maintain a low profile is completely disrupted as he must go all out, right now. As the instructor powers up, he tells the protagonist to go ahead and morph. However, the hero replies that he doesn't need to, which leaves the instructor bewildered. The instructor feels he's being underestimated because it seems illogical for an Animorph to be fine without transforming. He then initiates the fight by hurling his spear at our hero. Our hero remains unfazed by the instructor's strike since he realizes the man lacks true spear skills. He easily defends against the attacks, but he still needs to locate a proper opening to make his own strike. As they engage, he snaps the instructor's spear and sends him soaring away. The man crashes to the ground and lies there in defeat while the other students watch in awe. Lin Chong recognizes that the principal was right about our hero's power. Zhenjin also notices that he has reached a level of strength that she might not be able to surpass. Nevertheless, she cheers for him while feeling pleased to have him as a friend. The other students begin to cheer him on as well, but our hero starts to feel repulsed by the situation. While he confronts his admirers, the instructor rises back to his feet. Qinming then summons a collection of daggers and remarks that these are the weapons he is adept with, but the protagonist proceeds to ridicule his spear skill, making the man appear foolish. Conversely, Lin Chong observes that the instructor is becoming earnest and points out that both the spear and dagger have their advantages and disadvantages. He reflects on how the combatants are now employing weapons that excel in contrasting combat styles. As our hero continues his duel, he recognizes the advantages of being a Gold Awakener. The instructor then realizes that his opponent is preoccupied and charges forward. The protagonist notices this and swiftly divides his spear, enabling him to intercept the attack. While the instructor is taken by surprise, the hero prepares to strike him down. Qinming quickly defends himself and strives not to embarrass himself as well. Nonetheless, the protagonist's assault sends him soaring through the air, leaving the audience utterly bewildered. The instructor manages to land safely and realizes that our hero's strength matches his own. Meanwhile, our hero finds the battle tiresome and eagerly awaits its conclusion. Somehow, the two of them read each other's thoughts, and the hero inquires if they should conclude their match as a tie. They agree, and the protagonist expresses gratitude to the instructor for restraining himself throughout. However, Qinming still awards our hero the victory and permits him to forego the training. Upon hearing this, Lin Chu becomes extremely enthusiastic and decides to take a break. Conversely, his classmates cannot deny how remarkable and impressive he is. Qinming reminds the other students to continue their training, which utterly dampens their spirits. As he drags Jiangsan away, our hero wishes his roommate all the best. Lin Chong then approaches the protagonist, who wonders what the chief instructor desires. The man then asks him to join him for a walk. When he confirms that it's just the two of them, our hero starts thinking about silly things. However, the guy mentions that he intended to take the protagonist for a flight. When our hero refers to the guy's eagle, Lin Chong is astonished that he knows about mana beasts. Lin Chu then informs him that he learned about mana beasts from someone named Majorin. Lin Chong's eagle lands nearby, and they prepare for a ride. Observing the majestic eagle, Lin Chong asks the protagonist for his thoughts about them, and Lin Chu tells him to correct him if he is mistaken. Our hero begins to recount how the beasts were raised in the army and how they hatched, leaving the chief instructor astonished. He suddenly tells the guy that the storm eagles are wasted in their care. Lin Chong feels offended by these comments and wonders why he would say that. The hero then mentions that there is an issue with the way the eagles are bred. He states that the ones that are domesticated are inferior to those found in dungeons. While the chief instructor remains shocked, The protagonist also points out that the domesticated storm eagles have a shorter lifespan than those discovered in dungeons. Completely stunned by the hero's perceptiveness, the chief instructor asks how he knows all of this. Lincho responds that it's all thanks to Majoran, but in reality, it's due to the feeding skill he acquired earlier. When he confirms that he can address these breeding problems, Lincho decides to bring him along. The protagonist worries about his classes, but the chief instructor reassures him that the vice principal will be informed. Lin Chong then calls the old man and asks for permission to take our hero for a few days. After that, the chief instructor warns our boy that he cannot refuse, or he will be marked absent and expelled. With no alternative, he climbs onto the eagle with the man. His glum expression shifts when he realizes they are flying, and he begins to scream for help. Unfortunately, no one hears the loser shouting. Shortly thereafter, they arrive above the Vermilion Bird Squad's hidden base. As they dismount from the eagle, the protagonist admires how incredible the base appears. The chief of staff, Zhenyu Young, approaches them and asks why the chief instructor has returned so promptly. Lin Chong swiftly introduces our hero and refers to him as a valuable asset. Meanwhile, the protagonist is entirely bewildered by the situation. The chief instructor then informs Yu Young that he will grasp our hero's significance once they meet their team leader, but the guy refuses. Afterward, he proceeds to the logistics base with the protagonist. Following a lengthy walk across a bridge, our hero is perplexed when they halt before a massive rock wall. He wonders if the team leader is a monkey poised to leap out and surprise them. However, Lin Chang utilizes a terminal to unveil a hidden entrance concealed behind the large boulder. Our hero is astonished to witness such incredible technology before him. Conversely, Lin Chang informs him that there are further surprises awaiting inside. Upon entering, the protagonist encounters a highly advanced lab. The facility is bustling with scientists tending to various species of flying creatures. The space is so vast that it could easily rival the size of an entire mountain. The chief instructor then inquires if the hero is astonished by the scale of the logistics base. Lin Kyo then diverts his gaze to a griffin and remarks that the food it's being given might be harmful. The instructor swiftly pulls him away after noticing his comments about some mistakes. They reach a door where the guy informs the hero that a madman is engrossed in his research there. Instead of knocking, Lin Chong kicks the door down like a lunatic. As he navigates through the dust, Lin Q asks the guy if there wasn't a more civilized way to enter. As the dust settles, they spot a blonde girl whom the instructor identifies as team leader Shen Xing. Lin Chong notes that she is a gold-ranked demon awakener. Shen Xing finally turns and acknowledges their presence in the room. Meanwhile, our hero ponders what a demon awakener actually is. The instructor explains that these awakeners are rare, much like his spatial abilities. That's when our hero realizes that the instructor had known about his ability all along. Lin Chang then instructs him to hide while he rouses Shen Xing from her deep contemplation. He mentions that the girl typically enters her demon form when her thoughts are interrupted, and it is quite challenging to defeat her. As soon as he taps her shoulder, the team leader grabs her pistols and begins shooting wildly. The guy manages to evade the bullets, but it appears Shen Xing has gone berserk. Our hero observes the confrontation from a safe distance and notices when the team leader runs out of ammunition. However, a sinister aura begins to envelop her and terrifying voices can be heard. Her nails elongate into sharp claws and she also develops horns and a tail. With her demon powers, she lunges straight at Lin Chong, but he constructs a large barrier to shield himself. Nevertheless, it's insufficient to prevent the crazed demonic girl from breaking through. The chief instructor then fortifies himself with layers of protection, yet he continues to be pushed back by the team leader. He then tells our hero to seek help because he can't fend off the girl any longer. The protagonist swiftly races off to find a way to assist the chief instructor. He stumbles upon a computer displaying the parameters for hatching creatures known as flamezors. However, he notices that these parameters will cause the beasts to be deficient in several areas. The chief instructor urges him once more to seek help instead of lingering. Regardless, the protagonist then informs him that there's a problem with the parameters, which piques the team leader's interest as well. She becomes increasingly intrigued when he states that he knows how to hatch the creatures correctly. Upon hearing this, her demonic form diminishes, and she asks the hero if he is certain. While Lin Q is astonished to see her normal again, she tells him that she hasn't been able to figure out how to hatch the eggs. Meanwhile, the chief instructor regrets having wasted all his time battling her to awaken her. He then informs Shen Xing that our hero is an authority on mana beasts. Nevertheless, she perceives the hero as a young child and underestimates his abilities. When our hero hears this, he becomes extremely upset about being belittled. He then lays a notepad on the table and starts to explain to the team leader why the parameters the flamezors are incorrect. He details why the beasts require significantly high temperatures for the eggs to hatch. Additionally, the eggs need mana pearls surrounding them to assist with the process. He even calls Shen Xing out for trying to smother the creatures. She informs him that the process of placing mana pearls around the eggs is unfamiliar to her. Our hero then clarifies how dungeons contain more mana than the outside environment. This clearly resonates with the girl, and she finally recognizes how remarkable our boy is. The team leader swiftly pulls him away so he can assist her in hatching the eggs together. Lin Qiu then informs her that there's something more pressing than hatching baby eggs. He then quickly takes her to another location. The scientists in the lab turn around when he captures their attention. After introducing himself, he informs them that he intends to offer some guidance. He begins by telling the researchers that there are numerous errors in their work. However, they feel offended by his remarks and assert that they are specialists in the field. The chief instructor then advises them to remain calm as they are embarrassing themselves. Realizing that words alone won't suffice, our hero decides to validate his statements with actions. He requests the researchers to fetch a storm eagle so he can conduct an experiment on it. However, the men are still hesitant to cooperate with him. Observing that the scientists aren't yielding, Lin Chong opts to bring in his own storm eagle for the experiment. He reassures the researchers that he believes in the protagonist when they appear concerned. Subsequently, Lin Chong's storm eagle is brought into the lab. The protagonist notices that the eagle has a peculiar nickname, but the chief instructor sees nothing wrong. While the scientist still attempts to dissuade Lin Chong, our hero instructs him to fetch a healer and some additional tools. The instructor informs him that the scientist is a healer and the other tools are prepared. Our hero then sets off to commence his work, but the researcher is still hesitant to follow him. Thanks to his taming abilities, the protagonist can pet the storm eagle, making it feel secure. The chief instructor is astonished to see his cherished beast actually responding to someone else. The protagonist then instructs the beast to lie down. Afterward, he climbs atop it along with the researcher. He asks the guy for the anesthetic, which is handed over to him. He then prepares to inject the beast. Lin Qiang is concerned about the entire situation because the protagonist is still a student. His anxiety increases when he requests hot water to be poured around the eagle's abdomen. Fortunately, he notices that our hero is merely plucking the feathers. Next, our boy asks for a scalpel. The scientist waits for Lin Qiang to give the signal, but the guy still appears uneasy. The protagonist then reassures him that he won't let him down. After that, the instructor tells them to hand over the surgical blades. The protagonist picks up the blade and begins the operation. As he makes an incision in the beast, he is utterly shocked by what he discovers. There, he sees a massive layer of fat protruding. He decides to discard it all with the researcher's assistance. After that, he instructs the guy to quickly utilize his he's skills on the beast. The hero leaps off the creature and informs the chief instructor that storm eagles do not require so much fat. He explains that the beast will be able to breed more effectively and grow stronger with less fat. Since the creatures are currently being given a lot of fatty meat, the hero recommends the instructor change to beef and lamb as a preferable alternative. Lin Chong then waits to see if his storm eagle is alright, and if not, he's prepared to send our hero to his end. Moments later, the storm eagle's eyes snap open, and it appears distressed about its missing feathers. However, it radiates a strong aura as it manages to make a breakthrough. The individuals in the room, particularly Lin Chang, are all stunned when they observe the eagle attain the platinum rank. The protagonist then informs the chief instructor that his eagle wants to take him for a flight. The instructor praises the hero's efforts, and the researcher apologizes for doubting him earlier. Afterward, our hero chooses to highlight some additional issues and assures them that the Vermilion Bird Squad will strengthen once these matters are corrected. As he converses with the researcher, Shenxing keeps her gaze fixed on him. Later, the chief instructor escorts our hero to the guest room where he can take a break. Lin Qiu then climbs into bed to rest after a tiring day. As he turns to sleep, he feels a peculiar hand touching him. He spins around to see the charming team leader next to his bed. Feeling completely bewildered, he asks the team leader what she is doing in his room. She then pulls out a book and asks him to take a look. Shensen informs the protagonist that the flame sores have hatched, which leaves him perplexed. She then mentions that she used a gold rank mana pearl for the hatching process. The hero turns away to disregard her, but she tells him that she has something else to talk about with him. With an alluring voice, she informs our boy that she wants him to teach her about mana beasts. He attempts to explain that he is still a student, but the team leader is unconcerned about that. With no other option, our hero consents, and she offers to bow to him. However, he kicks her out of the room and suggests starting to teach her the following day. The next morning, our hero exits his room with heavy dark circles under his eyes, indicating he hardly slept. While contemplating what to do for the day, Shenxing appears out of nowhere and greets him. She immediately requests her lesson for the day, to which our hero agrees. He proposes that she should ask questions since he doesn't know how to approach teaching her. The team leader then informs him that the frostwing eggs did not hatch and inquires about her mistake. The protagonist tells her to reduce the temperature in the incubation chamber, and she asks for an explanation. However, our hero is already weary of the endless inquiries. As they enter the lab, the other researchers are pleased to see the hero. Within seconds, they bombard him with various questions and urgent requests. Lin Qiu grows tired of it and instructs them all to line up and wait. Later, he finally lies down on his bed to get some rest. His rest is abruptly interrupted when the alarms beep and everyone is called to gather outside. With a concerned expression, he wonders if something has gone awry. He meets up with Shensheng outside and asks her what the situation is. She tells him that their captain, who just returned, rang the alarm to make an announcement. There, he sees the captain of the Vermilion Squad, Chow Gai, who is a Diamond 8-star Animorph. The captain informs them that Lin encountered a criminal organization in their territory. After tracking them for a while, the chief instructor was able to locate their hideout. Consequently, Chow Gai tells his comrades that 10 members will be chosen to assist Lin Chong. As many people offer to help, the captain mentions that Lin Q has been requested for the operation. Our hero then reveals himself to the squad's captain. Shen Xing informs the captain that the protagonist is a specialist who the chief instructor brought along. She begins to commend our hero and recounts all his accomplishments since his arrival. Chow praises the protagonist for his achievements, but feels uneasy about sending him on such a perilous mission. Nevertheless, the hero willingly volunteers and promises to take charge of his decisions. The captain remains reluctant, but the team leader offers to safeguard our hero during the mission. Chow Gai then cautions the hero about the risk of losing his life on this operation, yet our boy is resolute in his desire to assist. Following that, the captain gives him some documents containing details and instructs him to review them before they head out. He turns to speak to the rest of the squad while our hero looks exceedingly eager about the task ahead. Moments later, Lin Qiu departs on a Storm Eagle alongside team leader Shen. From what he gathered, their target is the Tiger mercenary group notorious for various atrocious crimes. However, Shen Jing emphasizes that there could be casualties if they confront the group as they operate in a populated region. She also notes that the group has a demolition expert, wishing they had a spatial awakener, thus increasing the stakes for our boy. Lin Q now realizes why the chief instructor called for him. The team leader's phone alerts her, and she states that they are nearly at Lin Chong's location. By evening, they reach the woods of the border town where the chief instructor is expecting them. Lin Chong informs them that he unexpectedly encountered their target, Wu Kei, while returning with his eagle. The protagonist then queries why he took so long to reach out to them. The chief instructor clarifies that the criminal is very careful, and he never had a moment to rest while following the guy. However, the criminal was oblivious to his presence, and eventually returned to the hideout. Lin Chang then points out the hotel currently being used as a hideout by the criminal group. He advises the hero not to stare too intently because the foes might be watching. The team decides to take a break and rotate keeping watch as they prepare for the impending battle. The following morning, Shen mentions that she hasn't observed anything significant aside from Wu Kei going to get breakfast. Noticing how fatigued the chief instructor appears, the hero expresses concern for him and wonders how long his recovery will take. He then proposes to Shen that they move closer to monitor the criminal organization. She expresses worry about lacking a change of clothes, but our hero produces some garments from his spatial dimension. Naturally, this startles Shen Xing, and she questions how on earth he managed to pull them out. She dashes off with the clothes to change quickly. Later, as they stroll through the streets, all the men can't help but gaze at her. Our hero tells her not to grip him so tightly, but she takes the role quite earnestly. Upon reaching their destination, Shen Xing informs him that she desires something. Meanwhile, our hero employs his zoom skill to get a closer view of the hideout. There, he spots a thug brandishing a sniper rifle from the window. When he notices the man looking at him, he moves to shield team leader Shen. He advises her to behave calmly since the criminals are closely monitoring the area. Shen Jing continues to play her part, and the hero suggests they find a higher vantage point for better observation. They enter a hotel and request a room on the 3rd floor, but the entire floor has been reserved. The woman informs them that the 4th floor is booked and asks Shen Xing for her identification. The hero pleads with the receptionist to make an exception this one time, but she can't due to their policies. However, Lin Q slams some cash on the counter, and the woman promptly accepts. So much for policies. The receptionist hands them the key card to the room, and they make their way. Once they enter the room, they begin to set up their gear to eavesdrop on the adversaries. Initially, they hear nothing, but as they listen more attentively, they catch some individuals conversing. However, Shenshin is unable to comprehend the language being spoken. Luckily, our hero possesses a language proficiency skill. Later, Shen inquires of the protagonist what the individuals are discussing. He informs her that the men were conversing in Fulani, and he picked up 3 crucial points from their dialogue. To begin with, he states that the thugs were brought in to come there. Secondly, they are present to collect an item and smuggle it out of the country. Lastly, the criminal organization has set up explosive countermeasures, indicating that the hero's team must capture them swiftly. The team leader resolves to report the situation promptly while our hero observes that the group is on a phone call. One of the thugs confirms that the item has been secured and reassures the caller that they will get it out. Subsequently, he informs his subordinates that the item will arrive the following day. The protagonist quickly conveys the details to the team leader. Suddenly, Shenshin receives a call from Captain Chow Gai. He informs them that they've been conned and have lost the item they were safeguarding. The protagonist ponders whether this lost item is connected to the mercenary group. He subsequently updates the captain regarding the information he gathered from the Tiger group. However, Captain Chow Gai mentions that his target isn't moving towards the hero's location. He suspects the group will act irrationally if they realize they've been discovered, but he opts to send some backup. Shen Jing then inquires about the nature of the stolen item. The captain reveals that it is the final design of the Awakener weapons left behind the late Mr. Zhang Hong. The team leader is astonished to learn that Zhang was capable of developing the Awakener weapons. After understanding how significant this research item is, our hero and Shen Xing pledge to complete their mission. Shen then clarifies that the Awakener weapons are designed to be infused with mana to enhance their damage. However, she feels sorrowful that Zhang isn't around to witness his creations come to fruition. The hero then asserts that they must retrieve this item by any means necessary. Later, they rendezvous with the chief instructor and share what they've discovered. Shen Xing proposes that they collaborate with the fire department to evacuate civilians before it becomes too late. Meanwhile, our hero proceeds to draw his skill for the day. He ends up obtaining a couple of E-rank skills related to vehicles, but he wishes he had better fortune and acquired something more advantageous. As if that isn't bad enough, he acquires a ventriloquism skill that enables him to mimic any sound. He suddenly realizes that it's not entirely useless and goes on to ask Lin Chung a question. He inquires about the potential location of the explosives, to which the chief instructor responds that the criminals will be storing it nearby. With that, our hero devises a plan for the mission. With a mischievous expression, he informs the team that they'll set the location ablaze. Shen thinks he's insane, but Lin Chang urges our hero to continue explaining his concept. Lin Kyo tells them that the criminals wouldn't take the explosives once they see the building is engulfed in flames. He instructs the chief instructor to disguise himself as police with a few others and apprehend the Tiger Group while pretending to safeguard foreigners. However, the chief instructor questions how they will retrieve the data after eliminating the group. Lin Chiu then suggests he obtain Buck Tiger's phone or SIM card. With this, he can impersonate the guy and arrange a meeting with their contact. Lin Chong warns that the contact will recognize Buck Tiger's voice, but the hero reassures him that he can trick them and recover the data. Shen Jing is genuinely impressed that the protagonist can mimic voices. The hero also assures the chief instructor that he can teleport the explosives away before they detonate. Seeing that this is the best course of action, Lin Chong informs his team that the operation will commence at night. While they wait, the hero and Shen Xing return to the hotel room to continue eavesdropping. The protagonist is bored and weary of listening to whatever the enemy is up to. When Shen Xing hears a disturbance, the hero informs her that the individuals downstairs are merely playing poker. He chooses to take a nap while she keeps listening to the enemy faction. After dozing off for a short time, our hero unexpectedly wakes up in the lab of the team leader Shen. With him alert, she instructs him to prepare, but Lin Chu inquires why she didn't wake him sooner. She informs him that she simply wanted to get some additional rest. Our hero is taken aback when he hears this and notices that the girl is worried about him. He tells her to grab the walkie-talkie and wait for Captain Lin Chong's signal to proceed. Shortly after, a fierce blaze starts to engulf the building. The Tiger Group hears the hotel staff advising guests to stay calm and evacuate. One of the men informs these others that the hotel is ablaze. Realizing they possess a lot of explosives, their leader decides that it's time to leave. He commands the blonde guy with an eye patch to quit wasting time and move swiftly. However, the guy comes up with a reckless idea involving the explosives. Like the madman he is, he sets the explosives and hurls the timer into the room as he exits. Meanwhile, the fire brigade is attempting to extinguish the flames from outside. As the Tiger criminal gang rushes out of the building, the protagonist signals to his teammates when he spots them. The henchmen climb into a van, and Lin Chong instructs the hero to reach the explosives quickly. Lin Chiu makes his way to the third floor with the demon girl beside him. They arrive at Buck Tiger's room, where our hero begins stashing the explosives in his pocket dimension. However, he quickly realizes that the bombs have been activated. He asks Shen Xing if she has the ability to defuse bombs, but unfortunately, she cannot. He informs her that the criminals triggered a bomb and they only have 3 minutes remaining. As our hero tries to devise a plan, the demon girl has already lost hope and is resigned to going to heaven with him. Nevertheless, the mention of heaven sparks an idea in him. He activates his teleportation door, which now has an extended range due to his rank. As he pulls the demon girl along, he asks her if she enjoys fireworks. They arrive on the roof of the building through the other side of the portal. The demon girl is awed by such an impressive ability from our hero. Meanwhile, the protagonist calculates the optimal moment to act. He determines a time frame of 17 seconds to throw the bomb. With 30 seconds remaining, he asks Shen Xing to launch him very high. She expresses concern for his safety and he reassures her not to worry. She then spins him around with her considerable strength and throws the hero into the air. Lin Chiu feels himself soaring at an astonishing speed thanks to the demon girl's power. As his ascent begins to slow, he opens his portal and uses it to rise even higher into the sky. With only a few seconds left, he opens the final portal and tosses the bomb inside like a pokeball. As he falls back down, he asserts that the last portal will transport the bomb much farther. The explosion then erupts in the sky like fireworks. Shen Xing marvels at the beautiful bright lights with immense delight. However, the protagonist calls her attention and asks her to catch him at the edge of the rooftop. Thanks to the force from the explosion, he's plummeting at an incredible speed and may soon meet his end. He turns and sees that the demon girl won't reach him in time, so he resigns himself to his fate. Yet, Shen Xing lunges forward and leaps off the roof to catch him. She manages to seize his leg while grasping the edge of the rooftop. She slams him back onto the roof, nearly breaking his spine, but at least he is saved. The protagonist requests a moment to regain his mana, but the demon girl assumes he's fine as he seems to be moving well. He still insists on recuperating, and Shenjing informs him that utilizing a mana pearl is the optimal method for him to regain strength. She hands him a gold rank mana pearl, which he absorbs swiftly. With his mana completely restored, the protagonist is set to confront the mercenaries. Meanwhile, the opposing group is still being driven back by the chief instructor. He hears the blast and wonders if the hero and Shenjing are okay. While he is lost in thought, one of the mercenaries questions him about their destination. Lin Chong tells him that there is a slight complication and that they will soon reach their goal. The guy then instructs his teammates to get ready for combat because he senses something amiss. The chief instructor arrives at the location hoping that his comrades are prepared to take action. He quickly assaults the guy with an eye patch. By the time the mercenaries realize he isn't a cop, one of them is already dead. He exits the vehicle after dealing with the thug only to find the entire area engulfed in flames. He observes that the conflict has already commenced and the enemy has only lost the weakest member of their group. His female subordinate then informs him that something feels off. She's revealed to be a healer, and she mentions that there is toxic gas in the air hindering her ability to use her mana. He gets spotted by the other mercenaries, and the one accountable for the poison reveals himself. The guy discloses that the toxin will impact everyone nearby, and he has also activated a lethal poison. Instantly, the chief instructor begins to experience the hazardous effects of the toxin affecting his body. Apart from him, he also realizes that the toxin is impacting his comrades even more severely. The crook inquires about his identity, and Lin Chong introduces himself. The guy reveals that he is aware of the chief instructor, particularly where his scar originated. Upon hearing this, the chief instructor demands to know where the individual is. However, the criminal unleashes a rhino animorph to end the instructor's existence. Without hesitation, the rhino charges ahead to eliminate its target. The chief instructor uses his earth abilities to strengthen his hands. He then grips the rhino's horn and hoists it into the air with all his might. He throws the beast aside, sending it crashing into the adjacent trees. The criminal attends to his cherished animorph while instructing his comrades to assault the Vermilion squad members. The deputy commander, Mark Roos, utilizes his wind abilities to strike the team. However, Lin Chang is able to shield his comrades with a stone wall. While doing so, the rhino charges directly back at him. He establishes a defensive barrier to safeguard both himself and the rest of his subordinates. The other squad members urge their captain to flee and save himself, but Lin Chong is prepared to risk his life for them. As he defends against the rhino, the Wind Awakener approaches from behind to finish him off. The guy attacks with a powerful gust of wind while his comrade observes the battle. Lin is grazed by the assault, but he stands firm and continues to protect his people. The attacks eventually overwhelm him and his shield collapses. At that moment, the perpetrator behind the toxin charges forward to finish off the instructor. Lin Chong accepts his fate and laments not being able to save his subordinates. Just as the mercenary is about to pierce the captain with his blade, a car speeds into the scene and knocks the guy aside. As Lin Chong tries to comprehend what happened, our hero leaps out of the vehicle with the lovely Sheng Xing in his arms. He announces his arrival in style and sees that the captain is still alive. Lin Chong then informs him that Wu Kei is a poison awakener and he has walked right into the guy's trap. Meanwhile, the other mercenaries are attempting to assist their wounded commander. They tell their healer, Mimiko, to heal Wu Kei while the others go to engage in battle. The protagonist instructs them to pause while he prepares for combat as well. The mercenaries are astonished to discover that the hero can comprehend and articulate their language. Nonetheless, they disregard him and rush forward to assault. Shen Jing then transforms into her demon shape to confront the offenders. While they are taken aback by her transformation, she lunges at them, eager to tear them apart. The mercenaries manage to infer her rank as one of them raises an earthen barrier for protection. The demon girl is capable of vaulting over the barrier and uses her sharp claws to slice the man's hand. The other mercenaries choose to collaborate after realizing that a demon awakener should not be underestimated. As the conflict intensifies, our hero is unsure of who will prevail. His focus then shifts to Lin Chong and his team members who are in a dire condition. The female team member urges the hero to rescue the captain because the poison has already caused substantial harm. However, he takes her hand and resolves to address the situation swiftly. While she is puzzled by his actions, Lin Chu begins to administer treatment to her immediately. Fortunately, he had acquired a medical proficiency skill earlier. He checks her pulse and determines how the toxin is affecting her body. The girl is astonished to find that the protagonist excels in both mana beasts and medicine. He simply informs her that he has a diverse array of hobbies while rummaging in his pocket. He then retrieves a surgical blade, prompting the girl to panic and feel alarmed. However, he encourages her to relax and swiftly makes a cut. He holds her hand gently while she expels the harmful poison gradually. Her sight and mana flow begin to return, thanks to our hero's abilities. The girl then implores the hero to go and treat the other team members, but he reminds her that she's a healer who should be performing that task. Moments later, we witness a healer attending to Kuka's injuries. He regains consciousness and wonders how long he was unconscious. Nonetheless, he is perplexed when he observes members of the Vermilion Squad recuperating from his toxin. He cannot fathom how their healer managed to expel the toxin from her own body. He also notices that their leader is struggling with the ongoing battle. To save his team, he resolves to unleash another wave of lethal toxins. As the poison disperses, Wuka feels unconcerned because his comrades all possess antidotes for it. Xing halts her combat as the poisonous gas approaches her. The mercenaries urge their healer to assist them, believing that the demon girl has been affected by poison. However, they are stunned by what they witness. True to her nature, Shenxing absorbs all the poison and remarks that it's quite delicious. This girl is completely unhinged. The toxin only serves to augment the damage of her claws. She strides up to Wu Kei, who is terrified and looks as if he's about to lose control. The demon girl swats him away, leaving the others utterly frightened by her strength. She slowly advances toward the remaining mercenaries, and all they can do is scream for their lives like pitiful cowards. As night descends, the only sound is the miserable cries of the criminals as Shenxing wipes the floor with them. Even her allies are entirely intimidated by her. The hero is confident that the criminals will ultimately capitulate after enduring so much damage. Lin Qiang proceeds to inform the squad captain, reminding his team to spare Wu Kei. When the hero inquires why the man should be spared, Molly explains that the criminal commander may have knowledge of Lin Qiang's sworn adversary. Lin Kio is astonished to learn that the chief instructor has a sworn foe. Molly elaborates that 8 years prior, Lin Qiang had participated in a mission with Wu Haiyuan, who was the captain at that time. They were assigned to retrieve a precious item for the nation. Captain Wu's team was ambushed by an unusual force on their return journey, and the captain was no match for the formidable powers in the bizarre man. Ultimately, the squad members sacrificed themselves to allow Lin Qiang to flee. That was when he received the scar on his face, and he vowed to keep it as a reminder of the events. Lin Qiang constantly berated himself for what transpired and wished he had perished like the others. Molly also mentions that Wu Haiyuan must be torn about allowing the chief instructor to survive. The hero can also sense that Lin Qiang hasn't ceased reflecting on that period. While he ponders how strong that adversary has become, Molly witnesses a dreadful scene. Team leader Shen ends up eliminating both the commander and deputy commander of the Tiger Mercenary Group. So much for keeping tabs on her. Lin Q observes that the team leader is somewhat odd. At that moment, the demon girl experiences a breakthrough and attains the platinum rank. According to Lin Chang, once a demon awakener reaches this rank, they can maintain control over their mind. She then inquires of her captain whether she should finish off the remaining mercenaries. At their pleading, he decides to bring them back for questioning and ask them some inquiries. He questions them if they know how he obtained the scar on his face, but the healer Mimiko cannot comprehend his language. The protagonist then translates for them and threatens the criminals as well. The goons do not know anything regarding Lin Qiang's scar, and the hero conveys this to him. Mimiko then informs them that Wu Kei is suffering from demon poison and she cannot heal him. Team leader Shen offers to awaken the guy using her demonic methods. She employs her demonic touch to eliminate the poison, and the guy finally regains consciousness. He spots the demon girl and is utterly terrified. He curls up in a corner like a coward and pleads with her not to consume him. The chief instructor then requests her to take the other 2 criminals to a separate area. After that, he begins to interrogate Wuka, asking what he knows about the scar on his face. The guy declines to respond, but Lin Qiang assures him that he'll be kept alive just like his remaining comrades. However, the poison awakener doubts he will be set free given the number of crimes he has committed. The guy then asks the chief instructor to vow on his squad's name that he will be released once he provides the information he possesses. He is aware that the instructor and his squad value vows and rules highly, so he wants to exploit this for his own benefit. The chief instructor then swears that no one from his squad will harm Wu Kei after the guy discloses the information. Feeling pleased that Lin Qiang has actually made a vow, the criminal decides to be a man of his word as well. He reveals that the instructor's sworn enemy is known as Capella from his nation, and he is a berserk awakener. The last time Wu Kei encountered him, the guy was at the peak of the diamond rank. The goon states he obtained the information from one of Capella's subordinates named Jabari. The instructor assumes he is correct, as his investigations have consistently pointed towards Capella. After that, he chooses to let Wu Kei go free. The instructor offers the criminal one last chance to leave, but the guy questions if his actions are worthwhile. The protagonist concedes that there's no reason to allow a scoundrel like him to walk free. However, the guy asks if he isn't concerned that others will discover the vow. Our hero then discloses that he isn't part of the squad. He lunges forward to teach the goon a lesson and delivers a punch that shatters the guy's jaw. Once the guy is knocked out, Lin Chang presents the protagonist with Buck's phone. He also expresses gratitude to the hero for everything he has done to save their lives. Following that, he inquires of Lin Chu about the explosion he heard. The protagonist explains that the explosives were safely detonated after the criminals set them up. The sole issue is that the hotel incurred significant losses. Once more, the lead instructor sincerely expresses gratitude to our hero and Bose. The protagonist responds that he doesn't deserve such commendation. Lin Chong then instructs him to call him by his first name, so it doesn't seem like there's a vast gap between them. Following that, they set off to rest and question the other two mercenaries. The next day, our hero begins to interrogate Mimiko, and she consents to cooperate. She presents herself and mentions that she was taken by Buck once her healing talents were discovered. Shenshin calls his attention and reminds him to take the questioning earnestly. He finally concentrates and informs the criminal that she'll face consequences for concealing any information. Mimiko isn't certain who employed her, but she states someone from Nation spoke with Buck while she was present. She mentions the individual's codename is Great Teacher, and it appears that this person holds a high rank in the country. After that, Lin Chu inquires how much she was compensated to participate in the mission. When she claims they were promised 100 million dollars, the hero completely loses his composure. According to her, they will receive 30,000 as an initial payment, with the remainder sent to the mercenary company's account. The hero fears that Buck is the only one who can access the account, but Mimiko reveals she also possesses the password. Following that, the hero asks Shen Xing if there are any computer hackers available, and she informs him they have a guy known as Yang Fan. 10 minutes later, Yang Fan enters the interrogation room and meets Lin Chu. Our hero instructs the guy to transfer all the funds from the mercenary account to their own. He then tells Shen Xing to keep most of it and requests a small portion. The demon girl then agrees as a means to show her appreciation for all his assistance. The hacker succeeds in accessing the account, and they are all astonished by how much money the criminals possess. However, the small amount our hero anticipates turns out to be lesser than he envisioned. Shen Xing attempts to uplift his spirits and suggests using her powers to grant him some additional money. However, he humbly declines and tells her to retain everything. She mentions that she intended to give him 10,000, and our hero's eyes light up like a crazed addict. He ends up sulking in the corner after realizing how much money he has just forfeited. To feel better, he decides to sketch a skill for the day. Unfortunately, he ends up obtaining a shocking E-rank skill. The protagonist analyzes the skill and discovers it enables him to assess authenticity of an item. He perceives this as the ideal chance to accumulate all the money he desires. He continues daydreaming until Chong asks what has him so distracted. The chief instructor reminds him that the contact will soon reach out to them. They all gather together, and Chong tells the hero that it's all up to him. When the phone rings, Chong hands it to Lin Chu and tells him to put it on speaker. The hero alters his voice to mimic Buck's own and communicates with the contact. The other criminals are astonished by how accurately he can imitate their boss's voice. The contact then states that he will arrive in the next 2 hours. When the call concludes, the protagonist speculates that the contact is a citizen of Z Nation and advises everyone to remain cautious. Chong instructs the other mercenaries to cooperate or it will be their end. The two mercenaries assure him that they will fulfill their part. After a while, Shen Qing notices that the contact is 20 minutes overdue. The protagonist asks if they should reach out to the guy, but Chong tells him to hold on. He questions whether they have been exposed, but just then, they receive a call from the contact. The guy informs the hero that there's a delay on his side. He then reveals that the item is in locker number 35 at Seguo Supermarket. When Lin Kyo inquires about meeting in person, the contact informs him that it's preferable to maintain anonymity, and he disconnects the call. The demon girl then asks her teammates if they should go retrieve the item. The hero disagrees with her as he believes the enemies may be observing them. He feels it's wiser to ensure their safety. Chong also questions what other actions they should take regarding the situation. The hero then suggests utilizing one of the mercenaries to collect the item. 10 minutes later, at the Suguo market, the mercenary Eito enters the establishment. As he glances at the lockers, he remembers that the protagonist provided him this opportunity to make amends. While attempting to figure out how to open the safe, a peculiar individual bumps into him. He turns to face the person, but the individual suddenly vanishes without a trace. Edo then observes that the person has dropped something on the ground. He utilizes the item to unlock the locker and retrieve the contents inside. Back at the Vienna hotel, he informs the others that he has obtained the item. He hands a flash drive to the protagonist. The protagonist passes the flash drive to Yang Fang, but the guy struggles to decode the device. His pride is bruised, but the chief instructor assures him that their mission is a success. Now they simply need to wait for reinforcements. Since the enemy believes the files are with the mercenary, the hero proposes that they catch the crooks off guard. The chief instructor instructs him to ask the mercenaries where the files are meant to be delivered. Lin Kyo approaches Mimiko, offering her a chance to redeem herself by cooperating. The girl also desires the privilege of a solitary cell like Ito. When the hero inquires, she tells him that they were supposed to deliver the files to the coast of Jeweled City where someone would collect it. On the other hand, our hero is troubled that the remaining money will be forfeited if the deal is terminated. He suddenly picks up Buck's phone to make a call, and Chong asks what he's up to. He tells the instructor to be silent because he just had an idea. On the phone, the contact instructs him to deliver the item to the specified coordinates. However, our hero tells the guy to transfer the balance of the payment. Even though the payment is supposed to arrive after the delivery, he insists that the guy transfer the cash immediately. The guy warns him not to act foolishly, but the protagonist suddenly demands a larger payment. The the contact falls for the bait and states he'll seek approval from his superiors. Lin Kyo then gestures to the squad captain indicating that everything is fine. He hears the sound of something crashing on the phone, then the contact informs him that the funds have been transferred. After that, the guy hangs up. The hacker confirms that the money has been sent to the account. They all appear pleased that they managed to secure so much cash and will still be able to ambush the individual meant to collect the item. As Shenxing requests for the money to be sent to her account, the hero inquires about his share. She reassures him that he won't be let down, but our hero wants the money so he can get married. When she hears the term wife, she offers to be his wife so he can save the money. Nonetheless, our hero makes it clear to her that he has someone else in mind. The demon girl guarantees him that his share won't be less than 30,000 as he anticipates. A little later, the reinforcements finally arrive at the scene. To their surprise, the team sees Murong Tu, one of the 3 exalts from Zeet Nation, approaching them. Shenxing explains that the man is the military's idol and is also referred to as the Tiger of the Army. Meanwhile, Tu praises Chong for a job well done. However, the chief instructor tells the man that he can't take all the credit. He informs the man that the individuals who contributed the most were Lin Chu and Shenxing. The elder praises the demon girl, who calls him her grand uncle. He clarifies to her that the foes are already at their doors and he has no intention of allowing them to depart unscathed. He then inquires about who exactly the protagonist is, and Shenxing offers to clarify. As she details everything to the elder, he appears quite impressed with the hero's accomplishments. She also mentions to the elder that Lin Chu is her mentor, which makes him rather apprehensive. However, the man presumes this indicates that the protagonist holds more seniority over her. Just like that, he resolves to adopt the hero as his nephew. This man certainly has some familial complications. Nevertheless, our hero immediately calls him his uncle and shows his respects. Tu then receives a call from a man named Shen and asks how matters are progressing on his end. Chong explains to the hero that Elder Shen is Xing's grandfather who is assisting them in eliminating the threats at Jeweled City. They overhear the elder affirming that the enemies have been eradicated, and Tu conveys the information to the team. Chong hands the flash drive over to Elder Tu. The elder recalls telling Chang that his skills were as commendable as his. Zhang was friends with the 3 exalts, but abandoned training to focus on his research. Tu pays tribute to his friend's legacy, stating that his research remains secure. Before departing, he informs the team that there are still traitors in the nation who need to be swiftly uncovered. Afterward, the hero observes as the elder departs with the 2 mercenaries as well. He and his team also made their way back to the squad base on their mounts promptly. Upon arrival, Cao Gai's actions left the protagonist astonished. The commander asks him if he wishes to join the Vermilion Bird Squad, but our hero feels the military's regulations are too rigid for him. Guy attempts to persuade him, but our hero insists on not joining and instead requests a more concrete reward. The commander informs him that a first-class commendation is more prestigious, but the protagonist shows no interest in it. Shenxing then tells the man that there's something more fitting for the hero. She proposes the squad's most treasured possession, but the commander worries that it might already be lifeless. The demon girl encourages the commander to give the treasure to him instead of providing him $30,000. He then instructs her to retrieve the treasure, but the hero tries to prevent her. However, she reassures her master that the treasure is worth far more than he can conceive. She presents him a peculiar egg, which is their squad's most esteemed treasure. She clarifies that they aren't sure what type of egg it is since it has never hatched. However, the hero's robotic system quickly identifies the egg as a dragon egg. It also informs him that these beings don't typically exist in his world. The system mocks the so-called dragons in the West, referring to them as mutated lizards. As the hero ponders if the egg has parents, the system tells him that it cannot detect their energy signature. He resolves to make the dragon his mount, but the robot warns him that hatching it won't be straightforward. However, Lin Q plans to utilize his incubation skills to hatch the egg. As Shenxing strikes the egg, he attempts to stop her from damaging it. Regardless, she asserts that even bullets cannot penetrate the egg. This crackpot actually attempted to shoot it. Not only that, but she also employed her demonic powers on it. The commander informs the hero that Xing examined the egg for 3 months, but couldn't achieve any progress. After that, the hero tells them that it's a dragon egg. The commander is utterly astonished to learn that it's the same kind of dragon mentioned in Legends. Linkyo tells the commander that he can still retain the egg if he is given the $30 million. The demon girl ponders if he's giving it up because the egg is difficult to hatch. However, the hero clarifies that hatching the egg is simple with mana. The first method is that if an exalt transfers mana to the egg, it'll hatch in 10 years. The second method to hatch the egg involves using 2 exalt mana pearls. Xing and the commander inform him that these 2 approaches will be quite challenging to accomplish. Seeing no reason to reclaim the egg, Chao Gai tells the hero to keep it. Lin Kyo believes he can take his time hatching the egg once he ascends to exalt rank. Back in his room that night, he begins transferring some mana to the egg and intends to continue doing so every day. Suddenly, he experiences a peculiar sensation and manages to break through to a 2-star silver rank awakener. After his breakthrough, he takes out a gold mana pearl and wonders if he should absorb it or apply it to the egg. He chooses to absorb it, stating the mana will be of no use to the egg anyway. After absorbing it, he achieves yet another breakthrough into a 3-star silver rank. With that complete, he realizes he needs a bit more to reach the 4-star rank. However, all he has remaining are some skill pearls. He places the dragon egg into his pocket dimension while considering ways to sell the skill pearls for money. He decides to ask Chong if his squad would purchase some pearls after getting some restful sleep. The following morning, he encounters a dilemma when he cannot locate his skills. He laments to Chong, telling him that all his pearls have vanished. However, the chief instructor doubts that a thief could have accessed his pocket dimension. The hero contemplates this for a moment and realizes that the dragon egg must have consumed the pearls. He attempts to persuade the egg to return the skill pearls to him and complains about the profits he would have made. The protagonist clarifies to Chong that the pearls had significant value, and there was a Frost Arrow skill pearl among them. Nonetheless, the chief instructor advises him to concentrate on the future. He reminds the hero about returning to school, but there are still numerous squad members who have inquiries for him. Even Shenxing's eager for her master's lessons. For a brief moment, our hero contemplates if it would be better to engage in military service instead of returning to school. With a worried expression, Xing asks the hero if he is departing already. He attempts to explain that he is still a freshman in school, but he doesn't understand why she is acting strangely. Tears begin to fill her eyes as she tells him that he cannot leave due to their research. Our hero feels disheartened to see that she is more focused on the research than on him. Poor fellow. Nevertheless, he wonders how he can assist the researchers with their tasks. He tells them that he cannot possibly address all their inquiries. He tells them that he will compose a book that will help answer all those questions at once. While the researchers commend him, the demon girl still appears worried about his departure. In the next few days, our hero spends his time writing his book on mana beasts. When he was nearing completion, he had awakened new skills related to nursing and caring for the beasts. He finished the book and copies were made for everyone in the Vermilion Squad. Back in his room at night, Xing is moping in a corner while our hero packs his belongings. He informs her that he will be leaving the next day to continue his classes. She then asks him how he managed to gain so much knowledge about mana beasts at such a young age. He tells her he has a master Maijiren who taught him everything he knows. However, Xing concludes that the name literally translates to "this bird doesn't exist." She asks if he's trying to deceive her, but he assures her she's overthinking it. Afterward, she thanks him for all the assistance and knowledge he has provided to her squad. She also praises him for assisting with the Awakener weaponry as well. Sheen tells her master to visit whenever he has the opportunity. The following morning, Lin Chu attempts to depart quietly before anyone awakens. He rummages through the entire room in search of his headphones, but he can't locate them. He decides to leave without them. Once outside, he notices Captain Chow Guy standing with his team members. The captain instructs his troops to stand at attention, which leaves the hero taken aback. The squad salutes Lin Chu as he exits. The entire situation stuns him, leaving him with mixed emotions. Nevertheless, he returns their salute before departing to join Chong on the Storm Eagle. The captain still regrets that he couldn't enlist the hero into his squad. Xing then mentions that the Vermilion Squad likely isn't a good fit for the hero. As he soars off into the distance, she also remarks that the squad may have hindered his development. Later, he arrives at the university, and Chong discloses that he was the one who informed the squad members about his early departure. However, our hero is quite upset about this. Still, the chief instructor clarifies that he holds as much prestige as the squad's captain. He then asks the hero to come to the instructor's dorm to update Qin Ming on everything that occurred, but the protagonist prefers to see his classmates instead of the vice principal. Later, he goes to his dorm room and overhears Zhang San grumbling about him knocking so early. When he enters, he spots a slender guy who resembles the hefty healer. However, he has no idea who the individual is. He thinks he's in the wrong room, but Zhang San reveals that he is indeed the one. I suppose the military training took a toll on him. His other roommate mentions that Zhang San continued to slim down during the military training. However, the protagonist still finds it hard to believe that the heavyset guy transformed like this in just a month. His friend tells him that he has become quite the celebrity at the university since he left. The guy then informs Lin Q that the summary presentation will soon commence, and our hero wonders if he'll get to see his crush. The scene shifts to the sports field where a large number of students have gathered. Our hero also arrives while feeling extremely anxious. The healer teases him, asking if he's seeking the prettiest girl in school. That's when someone calls out to him and our hero spots the stunning Genjin. As he tells her that he's back, Chen also appears to spoil the sweet reunion. As always, she starts throwing herself all over him and asking if he just returned, however. Our hero notices that Genjin is furious and looks ready to confront the girl. He moves to his crush's side and tells the other girl that he came to see her. After that, it is announced that the presentation is about to start. Beside Lujin, we see Ouyang's, the university chancellors, and also a spatial awakener. The protagonist notices the old man as he enters the field. The man waves at him and offers him a seat when he approaches. Lin Kyo tells Z that it doesn't seem fitting given that many people are watching them. However, the elderly man tells him that he has gained honor from the university and is willing to mentor him when he has spare time. With no other option, the hero takes a seat next to the Chancellor and thanks him for the compliments. The other freshmen see the hero sitting next to the Chancellor and wonder why he receives such privilege. Even Genjin starts to sense a distance form between them, but she remains very happy for our boy. As the presentations continue, the protagonist starts to grow bored with the entire event. He then accesses the system to awaken his daily skill. Luckily, he obtains an rank lightning skill. He swiftly agrees to utilize it and is pleased he didn't receive a Sliss E rank skill this time. He also gains the opportunity to merge it with his Animorph skill, and he promptly agrees. Subsequently, his Dorabon transforms into Doralickbit, leaving the hero rather perplexed. The robot begins reciting a script, and the hero ponders if he can already employ his lightning powers. The system affirms this, and he is relieved that he doesn't have to perform the strange chant before activating his skill. He also acquires the capability to generate static electricity by rubbing his hands together when he morphs. Considering he's a shameless rogue, he has faith in his proficiency to use this effectively. He also gains 2 additional formidable skills that can inflict substantial damage to a single target, and that's also a long-range attack. Noticing that these are single-target skills, he concludes that he must seek a multi-target Pearl skill. With his ability at S rank, our hero feels like a total badass. The presentation finally concludes and the military service is finished. He then spots Jiang-san expressing gratitude to Instructor Ming for aiding him in losing weight and training hard. The vice principal then approaches and calls out to him. He informs the hero that the Chancellor is waiting in the training room to instruct him. As they enter the training room, Lujin informs the hero that the room is not being actively used because classes haven't started yet. The hero then sees the Chancellor, who is diligently training. In that brief moment, our hero feels as though the old man is going to use him as a punching bag. Z then instructs Lin Chu to attack him with all his strength. However, he feels rather uneasy going all out against the old man. With no other option, he activates his newly acquired form, Dora Alec Bit. The fierce lightning crackles around him as he prepares to strike the Chancellor. The old man notices his form as well as his enhanced power. The protagonist opens a portal and appears behind the Chancellor instantly. With his lightning-charged fists, he punches the old man, who is staggered by the electric shock. Afterward, the hero retreats through his portal to a secure location. Meanwhile, Z observes the impressive skills of the protagonist. He then urges Linz to attack with everything he possesses, assuring him he won't retaliate. The protagonist is relieved that the old man won't fight back, wishing he had mentioned it sooner. With that established, he charges up an even more potent lightning strike to unleash. With all his strength, the hero unleashes a lightning strike on the Chancellor, overwhelming the old man. The Chancellor can discern that the attack is as potent as the strongest assault from a Peak-Silver Awakener. After that, he inquires if the protagonist has anything else in his repertoire. Our hero is already quite fatigued from the earlier strike. Nevertheless, he assaults the old man with a flurry of punches, but this is merely a diversion. He steps back to execute his final strike by using a portal to snatch a strand of the old man's hair. This guy's boldness is outrageous. Regardless, the Chancellor is disheartened by his trivial tricks. Despite the hero being a rebellious fool, Z acknowledges that he possesses a sharp mind. He is impressed by Lin Q's achievements and offers to become his mentor. Without hesitation, our hero eagerly accepts with all the appreciation in his heart. Z then reaches into his pocket to present the hero with a gift. He hands Link a gold-rank spatial capability mana pearl, which also contains a skill. The Chancellor then instructs him to learn the ability immediately. As our hero absorbs the pearl, the old man feels he will become an excellent successor as a spatial awakener. After taking it in, Lin Chu succeeds in advancing to silver rank 4 stars. He targets the nearby test dummy and unleashes his dimensional slash at it. As the slash vanishes halfway through, he informs his master that the ability is mediocre. Suddenly, the test dummy bursts into tiny fragments, leaving our hero utterly stunned. Lin Q realizes that the ability is far more potent and beneficial than he initially believed. Following this, the Chancellor requests him to elaborate on his spatial abilities. The protagonist begins by discussing the features of his teleportation door. He mentions that he has been utilizing the door as a teleportation technique, and he goes on to explain its practical applications when combined with his mana abilities. The old man then instructs him to demonstrate his skill. The protagonist opens the Anywhere door, which now boasts a range of 70 meters. As the portal activates, he sends his dimensional slash through it, and the attack emerges on the other side, obliterating the ground. Chancellor Z praises his demonstration of skill combination. Even Lucian comments on how remarkable the technique is. Lin Kyo also realizes that he can use the door alongside his lightning abilities to chase a target. Shin suddenly enters the room, informing her grandfather that it's time for dinner. Our hero is taken aback to see her and asks what she is doing there. He reveals to the Chancellor that they are classmates, and she refers to the old man as her grandfather. She then cautions the elderly man not to be misled, as she believes the hero is merely an Animorph Awakener. However, the old man assures her that he is not a fraud and has chosen to become the hero's mentor. Feeling apprehensive about her grandpa, she awkwardly refers to the protagonist as her uncle. Lin Q seizes the moment to boast about being Xinxing's master too, which leaves the old man puzzled. Sai then reminds him to look after his granddaughter when classes start again, but she doesn't seem very enthusiastic about it. Later, the old man departs, stating that he will return to instruct the hero once classes resume. As he bids farewell to his master, Zhang San approaches him. The protagonist explains that he was called away and wonders why his friend is seeking him out. The guy then pulls him away so they can enjoy their last 2 days of vacation. They arrive at the third-ranked company in the nation known as the Prosperity Group. There, Jiang San waves to his brother, Jiang who turns out to be the second son of the owner of the Prosperity Group. He introduces his brother to the protagonist. Meanwhile, is astonished to see how much his brother has transformed. Our hero understands exactly how the guy feels because the weight loss is indeed shocking. Decides to verify San's identity by asking for their eldest brother's name. San tells him it's Jiaki, and the guy realizes that the slim individual is truly his brother. He then informs his brother that the protagonist has been looking out for him while they are in school, and tells the hero that he can call him brother too, saying that he has heard a lot about him. He then invites them inside, but our hero feels suspicious of him. As they enter the elevator, Lin Chu can't help but marvel at how impressive it looks. They reach their floor and step into what appears to be a storage room. San informs the hero that his brother enjoys playing with various types of items. While gazing at all the antiques, inquires what the protagonist thinks about them. The hero then utilizes his appraisal skills on the items and discovers that most of them are counterfeit. He informs the guy that many of his antiques are fake, which leaves him in shock. The guy tells him that he spent a considerable amount of money acquiring all those items, and his brother attempts to reassure him. Our hero then offers to appraise some items for him. However, is not entirely convinced by the hero's judgment. The guy presents the first item, and the protagonist provides him with every detail about the antique. After detailing the bowl, Lin Chu informs San's brother that it should be worth at least 25 million thousand. Reveals that he spent that exact sum to acquire the bowl, but Lin Q isn't finished with his evaluation. The protagonist then proceeds to inform him that the counterfeit item he possesses will be valued at approximately 100,000. Feels devastated upon discovering he squandered so much cash. Lin Q apologizes for distress and continues to shatter the poor guy's heart by highlighting all the counterfeit antiques in the room. The guy is exasperated and tells the hero to cease. He then invites our boy to accompany him to an auction the following day and even offers to pay a commission. The next morning, our hero awakens in bed with a blank expression. He turns to the system and inquires about his skill of the day. The robot grants him a skill called penetration vision, and he quickly begins to learn the ability right away. He tests it out and realizes it's basically like having X-ray vision. Jiang San enters the room, and the hero swiftly sees the guy's skeletal structure. Unfortunately for him, this is not the skill he expected. Meanwhile, San is oblivious to why he's behaving so oddly. The guy hands him a bag and reminds him that they are supposed to attend the auction with his brother. In a few moments, at the Treasure Trove Pavilion, Lin Chiu and the Zhang brothers are seen arriving at the location. The protagonist observes that the bodyguards present possess a significant amount of mana as well. As they enter the venue, one of the staff members directs them to their seats. Once they settle into their seats, San tells our hero that the participants in the auction are affluent. Lin Chiu turns around to see the love of his life, Jinjin, who wonders what the hero is doing there too. While he admires her beauty, someone suddenly asks how she knows him. The high school goddess introduces the person who turns out to be her mother, Wen Shihan. However, our hero perceives her as his future mother-in-law. With a stern look, she confirms that Lin Q is the one who has triumphed over her daughter multiple times. San's brother then waves to Shihan. He introduces her to his brother and states that the protagonist is also his brother's schoolmate. The woman then winks at our boy while noting how frequently Genjin speaks of him. Meanwhile, Genjin tries to get her mom to cease teasing her. Our hero, being the charming individual he is, compliments Shihan on her beauty, saying he could have easily mistaken her for Genjin's sister. The woman notices how much of a smooth talker our boy is. While Genjin tells him to stop rambling so much, her mother observes how much she appreciates him. Their attention then shifts to the individual who calls out to the audience. The person is revealed to be Li Jinyu, the owner of the establishment. He reminds everyone that once the money and goods are exchanged, the deal is finalized permanently. Nevertheless, the protagonist sees through his deceptions. Subsequently, he begins the auction with the first item up for bidding. It's a blossom bowl from the S Dynasty. The owner begins the bidding at 2,000 or quickly asks the protagonist if the item is authentic. The hero hesitates for a moment and then informs him that the item is indeed real and not worth more than 5,000. The guy quickly bids the amount while the protagonist nervously hides his face. With no other bidders, Zhenyu congratulates her on winning the first item. After this, our hero identifies a bronze vessel as a counterfeit, a black and white painting as authentic, and a differently colored painting as another fake. Shortly afterward, the owner informs the audience about numerous raw jade stones in the next hall. He believes there's treasure within the stone and starts the bidding at 100,000. The audience then transitions into the next hall. However, informs the hero that he's not keen on the stone gambling that will follow. Nevertheless, our hero views this as the ideal chance to utilize his X-ray skills. In the meantime, the son of the owner of Rising Group, Song Jae, approaches Jen and praises her beauty. Conversely, the girl is utterly disgusted by his presence. At that moment, our hero intervenes and tells Jen how he's been searching for her. What a desperate individual. The girl is taken aback and wonders if he's attempting to assist her. Lin Kyo ends up smirking at Song Jae, who becomes enraged. After that, the protagonist strolls away with his lady. Later, Gae instructs his assistant Wang to uncover everything about our hero. The hero and Jianjin continue walking until they arrive at a bustling area. When he feels they're secure there, his crush releases his hand. She threatens to sever his hand if he tries to grasp her again, but he informs her that he's only trying to assist. With a bashful expression, she thanks him for his help. As he admires her beauty once more, Jianjin's mother interrupts the couple, reminding them that there are still people around. She encourages them to cease their squabble and instead come to view the valuable stones. They enter the section where there are many beautiful stones of various sizes. The protagonist realizes that they are all uncut jadeite stones. The stone gambling emerged because no one could determine if the stones contained jade, and it was trickier to assess their quality. The uncut stones carried high risks but were very inexpensive, while the jadeite stones had a significantly lower risk but a steeper price. Lin Kuei then notices some individuals examining the marvelous stone that the owner mentioned earlier. He employs his X-ray vision on the stone and discovers that it is only valuable externally, with no worth internally. He spots an expert collaborating with the host and concludes this is why the stone is being sold. Suddenly, Songhae calls out to him. The guy warns our hero to keep his distance from Zhenjin because he believes Lin Q isn't deserving. The protagonist retorts by asking if the guy thinks he makes a better match for her. While the guy tries to brag about his high status, the hero points out his fake designer attire. The guy feels offended upon hearing this, but Lin Q insists he can't insult his fellow man. Zhenjin and her mother glance at them as the situation intensifies. Song then proposes a bet, stating whoever loses must stay away from the high school goddess. As Zhenjin calls out the guy for attempting something so audacious, the hero also tells him that she is not an object to be traded. However, Songhae tells him to stop hiding and claims whoever loses will have to pay 100,000. When the protagonist declines, the guy labels him a poor loser. Surprisingly, Lin Q states that the wager amount is too small and raises the stakes to 500,000. In that moment, Songhae becomes conflicted because he knows he'll be embarrassed if he backs down. He then asks if the hero possesses such an amount of money or steps in to say he'll cover the cost if the protagonist loses. Yet the desperate guy and his butler view Zhang He as merely a little child. The guy then agrees to the deal and warns the hero not to cry if he loses. Meanwhile, Shaihan inquires her daughter if she's interested in the hero, but Zhenjin tells her that she's too young. However, her mother has a different opinion. She resolves to cease teasing her daughter after the poor girl calls her out for it. Shihan promises not to interfere in her daughter's choices as long as she is content. On the other hand, Zhenyu offers to act as the witness of the wager. He informs them about the 5 tiers of the uncut jadeite stones in the area. The first tier ranging from 3,000 to 10,000, and the final tier being at over 10 million. He instructs both parties to select 10 stones, and the individual with the greatest value will be declared the winner. The protagonist and Songjae's aide then proceed to choose their stones. As the butler presents his selections, the owner displays a cunning expression. Shortly after, the protagonist submits his choices as well. From Jae-yoon's viewpoint, Wang's choices appear far superior to the hero's own. He ponders whether the protagonist truly understands the game or is merely relying on chance. He then inquires who will be the first to slice their stones, and our hero opts to go first. The gem cutter begins to carve the stone and is taken aback by his finding. Lin Q's stone significantly increases in value once they uncover the jade inside. The owner examines its remarkable texture and states that its value is estimated at 10 million. Upon this revelation, the entire crowd is astonished by how fortunate our boy is. Meanwhile, Songhae and Wang appear rather displeased. Next, it's Ji's turn to slice his stone. Wang instructs them to cut it from the center, which causes the hero to chuckle at him slightly. When Lin Chu is confronted, he brushes it off by claiming he was recalling a joke. Then the owner begins cutting the stone. During this, Lin Q confesses that he wished for the larger jadeite stone as well. He is astonished that the butler managed to select it with just one glance. After slicing the stone, it's revealed to be an ice-type yellow jade. Songji feels they might win with this, but Wang's expression suggests otherwise. Although the quality is comparable to the hero's, the value diminishes because it was cut directly down the center, resulting in a price of 8,000. With this, the protagonist is declared the winner of the first round. Zhenjin expresses her joy at their lead. Lin Kyo offers to give his crush a gift once they complete the competition. However, she attempts to act as if she doesn't want any gifts. As our hero returns to select stones, he tells himself to keep his lead to stay under the radar. In the second round, both contestants fail to extract a jade. In the third round, Wong's jade is valued higher than the hero's, enabling him to win. As the final round approaches, Sange still believes they have a chance to win. However, Wong informs him that the hero has only spent less than 100,000, yet he leads them by over 1,000,000. The butler glances at the protagonist and concludes that he must be an expert. Subsequently, the owner tells them to select their final stones. Unfortunately, Wong no longer feels confident and is unwilling to risk such a large loss. Conversely, Ji still believes they can recover from their loss and win the wager. He quickly chooses a massive rock from the pile. Janger then accuses him of cheating due to the high value of the rock. However, Ji reminds him that they are assessing the value of each jade. With this stone, he is very confident of winning. Even Shenzhen criticizes him for being shameless, but the hero remains unaffected by this. Lin Q decides to raise the stakes once more, which leaves his opponent baffled. Meanwhile, those in the crowd begin to gossip about Ji being overly timid. With no other option, he agrees to raise the stakes. His assistant, on the other hand, has lost all hope. Lin Q then selects a small, inexpensive stone, leaving the audience confused by his choice. The protagonist assures the owner that he is confident in his selection. As Zhenyu gathers the stone to slice it open, Gay insists that his should be cut first to shatter the hero's resolve. When they open the guy's stone, it turns out to hold no worth inside. Ji is far too desperate to accept such a defeat and demands they cut it open once more. The stone gets sliced again, but it still as worthless as this guy's instincts. Afterwards, the owner informs him that the outer layer of the jade will be appraised at 15 million thousand. With this, the guy gains a lead of 13 million thousand, and he's confident that the hero's gem won't be as valuable. When it becomes Lin Q's turn, he chooses to open his stone again. Instead, he instructs them to scrape the entire stone. Everyone else is stunned by this because it could lead to a significant loss. However, the process commences and the outcomes are astonishing. They uncover an imperial green jade within the rock. Janger is thrilled to see how precious the stone has turned out. He praises the hero for how remarkable his skills are. Meanwhile, Lin Yu revels over Songge, who has just lost around 600 million thousand. The owner then proposes to the protagonist 60,000 for his imperial jade. Yet, the crowd goes wild and begins bidding even higher. Zhenyu escalates by offering 100 million thousand for the jade. He also expresses interest in buying all the other jade stones that the protagonist acquired. Once he gathers them, Lin Q is left with one final stone. Our hero then glances over at his crush and her mother. Zhenjin observes the protagonist approaching her with the red jade. She wonders if he's about to propose and what her response should be. However, she's definitely not prepared for that. In a surprising twist, the hero pushes her aside and offers the jade to her mother instead. What a smooth guy. Shihan tells him that she's cheering for him, and he expresses gratitude as his future mother-in-law. On the flip side, Sangay is attempting to get his father to assist him with his excessive debt. He receives a stern reprimand, but it seems his old man has chosen to help the pampered child. He transfers the funds to Lin Chou, who confirms receipt. After that, our hero bids farewell to the guy. Afterwards, he begins to celebrate how wealthy he has just become. Still, he worries that it won't be enough to satisfy the dragon egg. Meanwhile, Zhanger informs him that the betting session was truly fantastic. Lin Q turns to the kid and mentions that he has a request. As encourages him to proceed, the protagonist asks him to use the funds to purchase some gold rank lightning and spatial element pearls. The guy informs him that spatial pearls will be difficult to acquire, but our hero trusts him to search for them. With that, agrees to keep him updated if he finds anything. Later, they drive to a hotel where the protagonist can relax for the next 2 days. He settles into the bed and instructs the robot to draw a skill for him. Fortunately, he receives an SS rank Animorph skill called Jade Rabbit. However, the protagonist questions why he hasn't obtained an E rank skill in the last 3 days. He then inquires with the robot how he can awaken another Animorph skill, and it tells him that it can be fused with the one he already possesses. After merging, he transforms into a dimensional moon rabbit. Lin Kyo praises the system for the great name, but queries why the lightning aspect was omitted. Following that, he requests the system to display the skill details. From the details, he notices that varying tiers of the skill significantly enhance his stats. He chooses to transform and quickly test it out. As he shifts into his rabbit form, he realizes that his overall capabilities have improved considerably. The robot informs him that he can maintain his full moon condition for a minute, and likely longer if he doesn't exert himself fully. Unfortunately for him, a minute feels far too brief. Given the extent of the stat boost, he concludes that the duration isn't too unfavorable. When Zhang-san arrives to wake him, he encounters something that terrifies him. He swiftly steps outside and shuts the door while the hero contemplates whether he should eliminate his friend to preserve his honor. 2 days later, they both observe the school crowded with students returning. An unusual girl halts them and insists that they assist her with her baggage. Nevertheless, they pretend as if they didn't hear her. She calls out to them again, but they simply disregard her. The eccentric girl turns out to be Lin Yunxuan, a 9-star gold shadow awakener. Lin Kyo then inquires what she requires. Yunxuan suspects that the hero and his companion are feigning indifference just to attract her notice. What a fool. She then pretends to offer him an opportunity to carry her bags, and the hero asks why. While she's puzzled by this, he goes ahead to question her if they owe her anything since she's behaving quite spoiled. The girl begins to feel anxious as she hasn't encountered something like this before. She then asks politely for assistance, and Lin Chu decides to help her after realizing she's not that bad. Yunxuan sees that they are freshmen and requests their names. Jiang San introduces himself and the hero, but he tells her that she should have introduced herself first. The girl is startled that they don't recognize her, but she introduces herself. San tells the protagonist that she used to be the most beautiful girl at the university. However, the protagonist doesn't believe she's more attractive than his beloved Zhen Zhen. Conversely, Yunxuan tries to steady herself as she's interacting with new students. Once they arrive at the dormitory, she heads off to meet her dorm manager. As they wait, San comments on how impressive the girls' dormitory is. Later on the inaugural day of classes, our hero attends his first lecture, which focuses on mana beasts. Their instructor for this class is Professor Zhang, who is renowned in the field of mana beast studies. While all the students are awed by him, our hero feels there's no one who can rival his understanding of mana beasts. He suddenly spots a textbook and notices a mistake within it. As he continues to flip through, he finds a few more errors and makes a note of them. While he's doing this, the professor calls him over and asks to see what he's noted. He hands the book to Professor Zhang, who is astonished by the observations he's made. The older gentleman takes a seat and asks for our hero's name. The old gentleman then inquires about his correction regarding the Crimson Jade Cat, to which Lin Q replies that the creature has poor night vision. He elaborates that the cats are nimble at night due to their exceptional hearing. As the professor continues to converse with him, the other students are perplexed by the situation. Sima Yan reminds the elderly man that they are still in class. However, the old man instructs them to prepare for the upcoming lesson, while he discusses the textbook discrepancies with Lin Q Qian, and the other students are impressed by the hero's expertise. Afterward, the professor tells them to leave to avoid disturbing them. As they exit, it's clear that some students are displeased about this. The old man warns the protagonist that any mistakes they make could potentially endanger lives in dungeons. Following that, they proceed with their conversation. Later, in advanced mathematics class, the protagonist spots an empty seat next to Zhenjin. As he approaches, Chen hurries to his side and asks him to sit with her. He attempts to explain that he wishes to sit with his crush, but the high school goddess feigns indifference. As Chen continues to pester him, he feels Zhenjin's intense gaze. He tries to brush it off after noticing how furious she is, while Chen remains perplexed. The scene transitions to the training area, where the students are about to begin their Awakener classes. While wondering about their instructor, Lin Chu approaches Chen to inquire why she's bothering him, and she replies that she needs assistance with her studies. However, he fears Zhenjin might harm him if this goes on. The teacher for the class arrives and is revealed to be Han Zhongying. As per usual, she chooses to start the first session with a show and tell. Meanwhile, the protagonist thinks he'll become a target of ridicule if he reveals his rabbit form to everyone. The professor then calls on Zhen to go first. After she showcases her ice abilities, Zhen follows by demonstrating her fire skills as well. Once the girls finish, the protagonist is summoned to go next. He asks the instructor if he can skip his turn as he feels too self-conscious. However, Zhenning reassures him that no one will mock him. He consents and transforms into his dimensional rabbit form, releasing a massive wave of lethal aura. Upon witnessing this, the girls are all astonished by the hero's appearance. They see him as a charming rabbit eager to touch his ears. Meanwhile, Lin Chu jumps towards a test dummy and crushes it with his overwhelming power. As it breaks apart, the girls become even more enamored with our hero. Even Zhenjin and Chan are entranced by his good looks and his animalistic form. Chan expresses gratitude to her grandfather for finding such a handsome guy for her. Zhenning calls Sima Yan to go next before all the girls lose their composure. As Yan steps forward, he gives the hero an unfriendly glare. He transforms into his eagle form, convinced he appears more impressive than the protagonist. However, the girls perceive his form as pitiful and not even close to that of the hero. The guy then glares at Lin Q, who is puzzled as to why he's being blamed for Yan's foolish antics. Zhenning then mentions she will create special training plans for them. Afterwards, she instructs them to begin running laps around the field. The students are displeased by this since they have endured enough during their military training. Unfortunately for them, the teacher commands them to run 1 infinity times around the field. She informs them that they don't have to run once their fitness level reaches gold rank. As they walk away, Yan questions Lin Chu on why he isn't joining the run. The protagonist then asks if the guy is sure his fitness isn't already at gold rank. Zhenning then offers to evaluate the hero herself. Lin Kyo agrees to be assessed by her. They shake hands, and he notices how soft and delicate her hands are. He then concentrates his strength in his hands, making Zhenning speculate if he might not be a power awakener. She confirms that he's at the gold rank, leaving Yan rather disheartened. With no other option, he walks off like a loser to complete his laps. The professor then inquires if the hero has heard about the Awakener clash scheduled in 2 months. He remembers that Lu Jin had mentioned it to him previously, which saddens her because she wanted to scout him. However, she notes there's one more student who can take part in this. When the protagonist inquires, she informs him that it's Jang-san. She elaborates that his ability, which can enhance attributes, makes him a very effective support. Hearing this, the hero requests the teacher to elaborate on the event. Conversely, she is astonished that he knows nothing despite the vice principal informing him about the event. She clarifies that each team will consist of 7 members, and there will be one 5 versus 5 team match. Additionally, each team can have a specific number of substitutes. Despite San's low rank, she states that the support only needs to use their skill during the 5 versus 5 matches. Junning also mentions to the protagonist that San's buff skill lasts for 2 minutes. He believes Capital University will be their equal, but the professor is aiming for 2nd place, making him question if their opponents are that formidable. She then shares information about Zhang Hu, who is a Destruction-type Awakener and holds a Platinum 3-star rank. She explains that the guy ranks at the top of all universities in the nation, a true talent. Junning tells Lin Chu that the vice principal selected him so he can gain significant experience during the competition. After evaluating his rank, our hero feels his university should be at the forefront of the gold rank. As the protagonist prepares himself to enhance over the remaining 2 months, the other students return after completing their laps. The professor is certain they have inquiries, and she clarifies that improving their fitness will lessen the side effects of absorbing mana pearls. After that, she decides to conclude the day. On her way out, she requests the hero and Jongsun to meet her on the field at night. As night descends, they speculate if the professor wants to discuss the Awakener event with them. A guy known as Chen Long calls out to them and informs them that the seniors utilize the training facility at night. Junquan sees them and remarks that they should be studying. However, the protagonist explains that they were summoned by their instructor. She then confirms that their teacher is Han Junning. Chen Long introduces himself as a Platinum 1-star Power Awakener and the team leader. The protagonist and San also declare their ranks and Awakener types. Long wonders how 2 silver rank Awakeners manage to attract Junning's attention. The professor arrives and tells him he'll learn when they spar. Upon hearing this, our hero feels disheartened, realizing he's about to spar with a gold rank Awakener. She excludes Zhang San from the sparring session since he's merely a support. San then charges up his aura and showcases his skills on Yunxuan. When Chong observes this, he promptly accepts the guy into the team. While San receives praise, the hero feels sidelined. Chong then instructs our hero to spar with Dai Biao, who is their weakest member. Biao, an Anamorph Awakener, wishes Lin Q the best as they prepare to battle. The protagonist acknowledges it will be a challenging fight, then quickly shifts into his rabbit form. He lunges forward with a powerful kick, deciding to give it his all. As the attack sends his opponent flying, the guy questions if the hero is truly a silver rank Awakener. Before he can react, Lin Q strikes him from above, causing him to crash into the ground. This creates a massive explosion, astonishing the seniors at seeing their teammate being pushed back. Biao recovers from the hit and admits he underestimated Lin Q. Meanwhile, the protagonist realizes that the guy's defenses are excessively strong. The guy then reveals his Anamorph form. His bizarre and frightening appearance shocks the hero, and even his teammates laugh at how ugly he appears. He charges and lunges forward to attack the hero, and the battle intensifies. Our hero finds himself in a tight situation and needs to deploy a trump card soon. He swiftly jumps back to create some distance and charges a lightning attack. He then releases a sphere of lightning from his hand. Biao meets the attack with great assurance. However, he is stunned when the lightning successfully immobilizes him. Meanwhile, our hero is just getting underway and dashes toward his adversary to deliver another strike. Just as Biao is about to land a hit, Lin Qiu manages to sidestep and create some space between them. He fires off another bolt of lightning, but his opponent evades it. At that instant, he charges in once more to attempt a physical strike. However, his opponent is growing weary of the back and forth. The guy rolls into a ball and hurtles toward our hero. Unfortunately, the protagonist isn't able to evade in time, so the assault hits him. He gets the breath knocked out of him and finds himself in a precarious position. A girl nearby known as Wang Huigold observes that the hero has coughed up a significant amount of blood. As a healer, she rushes to his side to assist him. However, the professor tells her to stay back because our boy is alright. On the flip side, Lin Chu concedes that he also underestimated his opponent. He quickly spins around to see that Biao hasn't ceased his assaults, and he barely dodges the next one. With no other option, our hero activates his rabbit skill and transforms into his moonlion shape. His power escalates considerably, enhancing all his stats. The girls can't help but admire his impressive form. Even though the enhancement isn't as much as he hoped, it's still sufficient for him. Brimming with power and confidence, he launches directly at his foe and delivers a mighty punch. Biao gets hurled through the room and coughs up a significant amount of blood when he collides with the wall. At that moment, he acknowledges he has lost to someone who is supposedly weaker. The protagonist then extends a hand to assist him. He gratefully accepts the aid and acknowledges his defeat as well. Biao tells the hero that he certainly surpasses the strength of a typical rank 4 Silver Awakener. Huigold then rushes to our hero to check if he's okay. The other guy tries to inform her that his injuries are more severe, but she prefers to treat the protagonist first. While she tends to Lin Q, he expresses his gratitude for her assistance. Now that everyone recognizes how powerful our boy is, Junning inquires if there are any objections. Chong welcomes him to the team and asserts he's definitely deserving of joining them. However, our hero feels he'll need his full moon form to confront a Platinum Awakener. The professor then provides him with some mana pearls as a reward. The following day, as the protagonist absorbs the mana pearls, he decides to give the silver rank ones to the dragon egg. The dragon egg graciously accepts for the purpose of hatching. Afterward, he receives a call from San, informing him to pick up his complimentary supply of gold rank mana pearls. Meanwhile, San is too occupied enjoying time with the love of his life. He tells the hero that he's spending time with Min Min, which makes Lin Q quite envious. Our boy wishes he could have the same sweet experience with Shenzhen. Poor guy. Anyway, he leaves his bed and resolves to go collect the mana pearls. On his way out, a stranger is lurking in the hallway, keeping a watchful eye on him. The guy calls Wong to ask if he should engage, but Wong advises him not to take any action around the university. Meanwhile, our hero runs into Zhang Er. The guy mentions he was able to gather a lot of gold rank and platinum rank pearls, but the lightning and space-type pearls are proving challenging to locate. Lin Kyo takes the large box of pearls and can't fathom how challenging it must have been to collect so many. As the hero departs with the pearls, Air informs him that he'll do his utmost to locate the others. On his way out, he spots the peculiar individuals who have been shadowing him since. With a mischievous grin, he grabs his phone and instructs someone to check their notifications. He activates his live location and decides to find out what these odd individuals want from him. As he turns a corner, the followers alert Wong, who gives them the green light. As our hero enters the alley, he is confronted by some unattractive thugs. He feigns fear, inquiring if they're planning to rob him. He claims that he's penniless. The thugs then place a brown bag over his head and haul him off to who knows where. Moments later, the bandits bring him to an unusual building. There, Wong orders the thugs to keep watch downstairs and inform him of anything. The bag is removed from the hero's head, revealing Wong. Our hero, appearing unfazed, asks the old man and G what they desire. The butler tells him that he has no means to escape if he considers fleeing. Songa assures the man that the hero wouldn't run and then extends an offer for Lin Kyo to collaborate with him. Lin Kyo is taken aback upon hearing the proposal because he thought he was being abducted. Songji then suggests using the hero's skill with uncut rocks to gamble and share the profits equally. However, the protagonist sees no justification for accepting when he can handle it all alone and retain the profits. The spoiled brat then threatens him, insisting he accept or face the repercussions. The protagonist starts trembling like a coward when he realizes that Wang is a platinum expert. Meanwhile, Ji assures him that he will repay every cent of the money he lost earlier. Our hero tries to stay composed and delays until Zheng San can arrive with assistance. Suddenly, an explosion occurs, and Jin Jin crashes into the room. However, our hero is perplexed as to why his crush was taken to such a perilous location. She rushes to his side, and he reassures her that he's okay. It appears she was quite concerned for him, causing Lin Q to blush like a young boy. He then vows not to make her worry like that again. On the flip side, the foolish gay feels envious, and he instructs Wang to handle the hero. Suddenly, Wang becomes exceedingly anxious and unable to move. Ji suspects that Lin Chu did something, but the protagonist insists it wasn't him. Suddenly, Jiang San and Chancellor Shi arrive, making the butler even more fearful for his life. Z calls out to the protagonist and realizes that our boy is indeed a younger version of himself. Meanwhile, our hero and his love are flirting with one another, and he finally asks her to be his girlfriend. Just as she's about to respond, Ji interrupts their romantic moment by throwing a chair at them. Before the chair lands, Jenjin sidesteps it and kicks the foolish guy. She then instructs him to read the room. She and the protagonist return to their conversation, and she agrees to be his partner. They both share a tender moment while Song-gae continues whining like the pathetic loser he is. After that, Lin Q tells his babe that he'll deal with the remaining fools. He approaches Song-gae and tells him that he needs to have a word with him. However, the guy responds that there's nothing to discuss and would rather be killed. Nonetheless, our hero snatches the guy's phone and states that all he wants is Song-jae's money. He begins making a call, which makes the guy extremely anxious. His father answers and gives his useless son 30 seconds to explain the reason for calling. Lin Kyo then instructs the man to transfer $1 billion to his account or he will never see his son again. Ji's father stays silent for a moment. Then Jin questions her partner if he isn't demanding too much. However, he employs his charm to explain that it's meant to be the dowry. She reminds him that they are merely dating and she hasn't consented to marriage. The man finally replies that his son is only worth 1,000 zeros and the hero should eliminate him if the amount isn't sufficient. What a splendid father. Lin Kyo then opts to negotiate with the man. He attempts to propose 900 mils and 1,000, but the guy's father counters with 2,000, 0 and no more. Suddenly, the Chancellor grabs the phone and speaks to the guy's father, Song Jiang. Jin becomes extremely anxious when he hears Oingze's voice on the line. The Chancellor informs the man that his son has kidnapped his apprentice, which is a disgrace to him. Jin offers to break his son's legs and compensate Z with 20 million Z's and 1,000. The Chancellor agrees and warns that his group will be annihilated if such an incident occurs again. Chancellor Z intends to send all the money to our hero since it holds no value to him. I can't wait to be that wealthy in life. However, the protagonist clarifies that he hasn't reached that stage in his life yet. He confirms the transfer as soon as he receives it. Meanwhile, Songe is pouting because his father will never let him forget this. Our hero ridicules the guy by tossing him a coin and stating that he will make a fantastic beggar. Wong tries to advise the hero not to go too far and burn bridges, but our hero reminds the butler that they didn't think of that before they kidnapped him. He tells the man to focus more on his master instead of debating. Wong then departs with Songe, who has lost all faith in life. After that, Chancellor Z offers to teleport the hero back home. Lin Q tells him to hold on while he checks his mana pearls. When the old man asks why he didn't store it in his pocket dimension, the hero explains that the dragon egg would have consumed all the pearls. Z is astonished to hear him mention a dragon egg. He then asks why the hero isn't trying to hatch the egg swiftly. The protagonist informs him that the egg will require at least 2 Exalt mana pearls to hatch. Observing that humanity struggles to kill Exalt beasts, the Chancellor inquires if there's no other method to hatch it. The hero then explains that infusing mana into the egg will take too long. Upon hearing this, the old man suggests using alternative sources of energy. The protagonist realizes that this could also work since the egg doesn't strictly need only mana to hatch. He decides to experiment with other forms of energy to hatch the egg. When he asks the old man how to proceed, Z advises him to use his lightning ability on the egg. As the hero strikes the egg with lightning, it absorbs all the energy. As they see it working, the hero proposes trying something else, but isn't confident it will succeed. He instructs the Chancellor to erect a barrier in case this method fails. He retrieves an explosive he obtained earlier and sets the timer. After that, he signals to Z that he's ready and snaps his fingers. The spatial barrier envelops the egg, and as the timer reaches 0, a massive explosion erupts within the barrier. As the smoke dissipates, the egg remains unscathed and even shows a mischievous expression. Seeing this, the hero considers using a nuclear bomb to make it hatch sooner. However, the Chancellor advises him to postpone that idea since they're uncertain if it will work. After that, the old man reminds him of the Awakener clash that is set to begin in 2 months. He notices that Lin Q is aligned with him and asks if he's prepared to spar. The protagonist gets set and instructs his master to start. Master and apprentice engage in their duel, each harnessing their potent auras in the contest. The battle is intense, but Chancellor Zai dominates his apprentice. After their skirmish, the Chancellor advises Lin Q to rest as he heads to his quarters. Once our hero enters the room, he begins to absorb the mana pearls he possesses. While he does this, Jen arrives to see him and informs her partner that it's time. He's taken aback by her presence and rushes to his girl, asking her to notify him next time. He then takes her hand so they can go grab a bite to eat. They both venture into the bustling streets of the city that evening. Feeling anxious about the gazes upon them, she urges her partner to release her hand, but he reassures her not to worry about the onlookers. She reminds herself that they're now a couple. While strolling, Chen spots them and calls out to Lin Chu. However, our hero is too captivated by his woman's gaze. He then approaches the girl and refers to her as his niece. He presents Jenjin as his wife, but Chen has no intention of acknowledging her rival. Meanwhile, our hero's girlfriend is pleased that the girl must respect her. She suggests they all find something to eat, but the fire girl is fuming with anger. When the protagonist inquires why she is so upset, the girls can hardly believe how clueless he is. Later, under the stunning moonlight, our hero expresses to his partner that he needs to train for the forthcoming Awakener clash. She comprehends the situation and encourages him to concentrate on his training. As he frets about the possibility of losing to formidable opponents, Jen tells him not to push himself too hard. 2 months later, Zhang-san asks our hero if he's anxious about the impending competition. While Lin Q tells him that they are merely substitutes, he feels disheartened about not achieving the gold rank. Nevertheless, his fitness levels match those of 3-star gold power awakeners. He has also gained numerous martial arts skills recently, which are sure to be advantageous. Because of this, his close combat abilities have improved significantly. Their girlfriends then approach to greet them. While San goes to see his girlfriend, the protagonist wonders why his partner is present. He rushes over to her and she confesses that she already misses him. While he remarks on how she dislikes crowds, she pulls him in for a kiss and wishes him luck in the tournament. After that, Jenjin shyly departs. Meanwhile, our hero vows to give his utmost effort. At the entrance gate, Junning encourages her students to perform at their best and not bring shame to the institution. With that, the students are prepared to depart. Moments later, our hero arrives at the airport with his companions. A reporter approaches the professor and insinuates that she wants to lose since she added freshmen to her team. However, Lujan informs the reporter that he won't be commenting on that. Junning tells Lin Chu to disregard the reporter as well, and he assures her that it doesn't trouble him. As the other teams arrive, the reporter attempts to get a comment from them. Meanwhile, the protagonist wonders why there are so few teams. The professor clarifies that only a handful of universities made it after a fierce competition. According to her, only 8 teams will be participating. Upon hearing this, the protagonist is utterly shocked. The vice principal proceeds to announce the other schools that will be competing in the tournament. As they head to the combat meeting, Jennings advises our hero to be cautious of the teams. They gather in the meeting room, and the professor informs them that there will be a total of 2 rounds in the competition. The first round consists of 6 individual matches and 1 team match. Following that, the top 4 teams will advance to the final round. The teacher then goes on to announce the participants for the individual matches, which include our hero. Lin Cho subsequently emphasizes how even a weaker team can earn points in the match. Jennings mentions that their primary goal is the team match. However, the vice principal informs her that Chen Long and Yang Xuan can guarantee points since they are of platinum rank. The teacher then clarifies that they can achieve this as long as they succeed in the team match. Even Chen Long believes their strategy will definitely work in their favor. After this, the professor distributes information about their opponents. The vice principal concludes the meeting and advises them to rest well. Following that, Yunxuan and Hoigold wish our hero good fortune in his fight the next day. As the girls depart, the protagonist proceeds to read the information regarding his opponents. Later, he logs into the system for his daily skill. He acquires a skill that enables him to operate any type of aerial vehicle. As usual, the protagonist feels disheartened by such a trivial skill. As he exits the classroom, a shadow suddenly flashes across his face. To his surprise, it is Shen Xing who appears and gives her master a tight embrace. He wonders what she's doing there, and she explains that her squad is responsible for providing security for the competition. While they catch up, he notices a peculiar guy standing behind Xing. The guy is known as Jiang Hu, and he approaches our hero and his apprentice. She introduces him to the protagonist, referring to him as Lin Chu's nephew. On the other hand, our hero recognizes Jiang Hu as the strongest competitor in the grand competition. Xing calls out the guy for his rudeness, but Jiang Hu makes it clear that he has no respect for our hero. He unleashes his powerful aura, provoking the protagonist to engage him in a fight. However, Xing stops him and insists that he respect her master. With no other option, he refers to the protagonist as his uncle. After they shake hands, our hero tells him to leave while he speaks with his apprentice. The guy bids them farewell and departs. Sai Ying then explains to the hero that she and Jiang Hu used to play together a lot as children. After that, she mentions she came specifically to find her master and hands him some papers filled with numerous questions. As he reviews them, Xing suggests that they head to a nearby coffee shop. There, we see Jiang San walking around when he suddenly spots our hero studying with Xing. When Jiang San confronts him, our hero clarifies that he's merely answering his apprentice's queries. The guy is astonished to learn about a disciple. Then the protagonist introduces him to Xing. She goes on to present herself as the logistics team leader of the Vermilion Bird Squad. Jiang San, feeling amazed, extends his hand to greet her. After that, Lin Cho wraps up their lesson, wishing him luck in his fight. The following day, a massive crowd is seen entering the arena for the competition. With the opening ceremony about to commence, Chen Long reminds his teammates not to disgrace their school. After that, he notices Jiang Hu, who reminds him of Magic City's losing streak against them. Infuriated by this, Chen Long threatens to beat him up, but Jiang Hu remains unfazed by his foolish threats. The two guys stare each other down with their intimidating auras. Zhang San and his fellow teammates are awestruck by the intense aura. Jiang Hu further provokes Long when he notices how terrified his men are. While Zhang San almost loses control, our hero arrives and confronts the guy. Jiang Hu steadies himself upon seeing the protagonist in Xing. With no alternatives, he calms his temper and our hero praises him. When Xing inquires about the situation, he attempts to clarify that he wasn't creating problems. She instructs him to resolve all his conflicts on stage and not to stir up any more trouble. Afterwards, she wishes her master good luck in the competition. Following this, the event host Liu Mengni presents herself to the audience. All the guys present are smitten with her. As the delegates from various teams are announced, Jiang Hu and Long's team proceed to their designated areas. As they depart, our hero checks on Zhang San to ensure he's alright. They reach their seats where our hero notices his friend's anxiety. However, Xing reappears to interrupt her master with additional questions. He attempts to brush her off, but she insists, claiming it won't take long. While he tends to her, the host introduces the first judge, Xu Boyang, also known as the Shield of China. Boyang is honored as a special guest at the competition. Our hero is likewise astonished to see a Supreme Awakener right in front of him. The other two judges are Chancellor Zhe and Sithu Wei, the principal of Kyoto's spiritual martial arts. The host then passes the microphone to Wei for him to deliver a speech. The elderly man proclaims the competition open, causing the entire crowd to erupt. The initial match begins between Jiang Hu and Xiaoyang, captain of the Jinmen Spirit Martial Team. Upon spotting his opponent, Xiaoyang believes he is quite unfortunate. As Sithu Wei signals for the match to commence, Jiang Hu charges at his rival to unleash all his fury. The captain evades the strike and counters with his abilities, but it fails to unsettle Jiang Hu. The guy easily extinguishes Xiaoyang's flames, leading the captain to concede the match. With Jiang Hu as the winner, he wonders if Xing is impressed by his prowess. However, she's too concentrated on our hero and his expertise. This only frustrates him further, and he vows to retaliate against the protagonist. Even Lin Chu is puzzled as to why the guy is so furious with him. The second match quickly concludes with Kyoto Spirit Marshals Ling Xin claiming victory. Our hero and his team take note of how formidable this martial team is as well. Junning is astonished to see that Ling Xin has reached the platinum rank. As a result, she believes the competition will be significantly tougher for them. The protagonist also acknowledges that their opponents are much stronger than they expected. The third and fourth matches are secured by Tianjin Marshal until their loss in the fifth match. Junning is frightened by this, mentioning how the Tianjin team only consists of 2 peak gold awakeners. Even Lin Chu feels sympathy for how they were defeated by the Kyoto team. Following this, the host announces the upcoming battle between Magic City and Yingtian Spirit Marshal. Before the battle even begins, Yingtian concedes. The next match is announced between Yongxuan and Yao Guoqing, both of whom are peak gold awakeners. Noticing that he isn't up against the captain, Guoqing feels he has a higher chance of winning. As he activates his wind skill, Yunxuan prepares herself. The guy unleashes a massive, powerful tornado to annihilate his adversary. However, Yunxuan remains composed and swiftly vanishes from his view. She suddenly appears behind him and presses a dagger against his neck. Guoqing is astonished to discover that she has advanced to the platinum rank. With this, she claims victory in the battle, and the competition moves on. Meanwhile, our hero is amazed by how Shadow-type espers perform in combat. Yunxuan approaches him and wishes him luck in his upcoming match while he blushes like a child. The next duel is announced between Magic City and Yingtian Spirit Marshal. However, our hero feels disheartened that he drew an E-rank camouflage skill for the day. The match concludes with Yingtian emerging victorious and now leading over Magic City. As the final match is set, Hongfu Wan steps onto the stage, and his adversary is none other than our hero, Lin. The protagonist is truly thrilled to have his moment in the competition. When he pulls out a bag, the host wonders what he intends to use it for. Our hero then reveals his dragon egg, stating that it will serve as his armor. This astounds the audience, and the host goes to examine the egg, but the hero tells her that its shape is indeed unusual. Even Hongfuan finds it absurd that he is using an egg as armor. Conversely, the hero doesn't see any regulations barring him from employing the egg. Since there are no restrictions, the host signals the beginning of the match. While Linz instructs the egg to enjoy a feast, his opponent believes the battle will be too simple for him. He tells the protagonist to concede, but Lin Chu tells him to step back instead. Hang Fuan unleashes a massive lightning attack, which is absorbed by the egg. Unbeknownst to him, he starts to walk away thinking his opponent has been defeated. When he notices how silent the arena has become, he realizes that something is amiss. He turns around and sees that his lightning is being absorbed by the egg. Infuriated, he retaliates with more lightning strikes, but our hero utilizes his egg to absorb all the strikes. Huangfuan wonders why the egg is nullifying his lightning. He decides to attack with a wide area skill, but the egg still manages to absorb it from all angles. The protagonist knows this is nothing compared to the explosion the egg absorbed previously. Realizing what he is up against, Hang Fuan feels there is no point in continuing the fight. He quickly accuses Lin Chu of cheating with the egg. However, the judges find nothing wrong with using an egg. The hero tells the guy to provide evidence, but Hang Fuan has nothing to present. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, our hero's classmates are furious with him for using the egg. While some want to confront him, Jen is delighted to see her man and she misses him dearly. Back in the arena, our hero's opponent decides to rely on his physical abilities to win the match. Lin Kyo tells him to display his skills, and the guy warns him not to be too cocky. Since it has turned into a hand-to-hand fight, our hero knows his martial arts abilities will be highly beneficial. Lin Q informs the guy that no magical tricks are permitted. If not, he will have to resort to using his egg. As he assumes his stance, Hongfuan charges at him filled with rage. The protagonist easily deflects the first strike, but his opponent continues to advance like a bull. When our hero sees an opening, he catches the guy and throws him to the ground. By the time the guy realizes the technique being applied, it's already too late for him. However, our hero merely taps his back and tells him to quit shouting like a madman. The entire crowd is impressed by the hero's abilities. Even Meng Ni is astonished that he was able to prevail without magical powers. Hung Fuan acknowledges his defeat, and Magic City stands as the ultimate champion. Our hero stands tall as the audience cheers him on. When the host is about to declare the next match, someone approaches to give her some details. Following that, she announces that Yigtian Spiritual has withdrawn, making Magic City the champion once again. Junning offers to give our hero more recognition for winning his match so effortlessly. The next match features Gusu Spiritual Marshal against Jinling